Good evening, Warband. This is Sir Yeetus. Welcome to episode 139 of Yeetus' Thoughts. And today is going to get real. Welcome to the Generational Thunderdome. It's going to get very exciting, very interesting because right now, at this point, I realize that, you know what? When we talk about manosphere stuff or MGTOW, red pill, blah, 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 we need to make things complex for a second when it comes to we can apply the data market situation to each generation and who has flaws and which generations are at fault, and not just relationships. We can talk about various things about what's going on in society right now, and we find the root cause. Was it boomers? Was it Gen X? Was it millennials? Was it Gen Zs? Who knows? But it's going to be a good one, gentlemen. It's going to be maximum participation today. Maximum. It's going to be a great conversation. I had to make a poll earlier just to see what kind of crowd I'm dealing with today. And I see the majority of my audience at the moment is millennial. The second most is Gen X. Gen Z is third, and of course, Boomer is last. Because I'm gonna assume that a lot of you guys are not really on the internet or pretty much dead. But no offense, but you guys are a lot older than we are. But this is going to be crazy in the sense of I myself am a millennial. I'm about to bring on Gray soon. He is a millennial, and I'm telling you right now, millennials, we have huge beef with boomers. We do not like boomers. Boomers, I'm talking in a general sense. I know that there are some very cool, very chill, very wise boomers out there that is always willing to help out the next generation when it comes to advice or any type of tools or any type of just anything. I know there's that select few of boomers, but the majority of y'all, holy shit, y'all piss me off. Y'all piss me off. And Gen X, they're not that far behind because Gen X, they're the ones that pisses me off when it comes to the dating market. Because I'm gonna keep it real. A lot of you old heads, yes, I'm calling Gen X old heads, do not comprehend what's going on right now when it comes to the dating market. You guys can't comprehend because never before in history that social media is strongly involved. Never before in history that there's countless contraceptions being used that pretty much disrupt the entire game forever. Okay? I'm talking about birth controls, IUDs, abortions, all that stuff. I'm about to get in. Oh man, it's about to get real today. I got beef with you, and don't get me wrong. I'm sure that there's boomers, Gen X, and Gen Z has issues with millennials. I haven't really heard any concerns over the millennials, but I'm sure you guys got issues with millennials, right? But we can all be in agreement. Everybody has issues with Gen Z. I don't know why. It's Gen Z is just you guys are some we we fucked up along the way big time. We fucked up. I can say that all the previous generations can take some fault of what's going on right now in today's society. That I am not going to take away the responsibility and accountability of the previous generations. We should have been able to guide the Gen Zs better, but right now they're living in a decaying society where they don't know which 500 genders that they feel like being today. Oh, it's gonna get real. But before we do get into it, and once again, gentlemen, there's gonna be maximum participation, right? I'm gonna have a lot of call-ins. I don't care how old you are. Come in and defend your case, okay? Do you agree with what me and Gray are saying? Do you disagree? Why? Why not? I'm telling you, it's gonna be great. But if you want to support your boy Sir Yeetus, there's two links on top of the chat, okay? Cash App and PayPal. That's the best possible way you can donate because it goes directly to me. But you can also do super chats or super thanks. Any type of donation is greatly appreciated. But if you can't donate, I don't mind. I don't really care. Okay. Because, like I always say within the last week, you listening to what me and Gray has to say is the most important thing. Money is money. Knowledge can always be passed on. I know you guys understand. But let me go ahead and invite the one, the only, Greg Gulf. What's going on, man?
Good evening, Warband. Yeah. So here's the level of tension I'm thinking we're going to have today.
It fits with our avatars too. Oh shit, so eerie, bro. Oh, but I know you because the last stream we did, you definitely have some concerns or some beef with the boomers.
Oh, I've just openly gone off on boomers for 3 streams now. So yes, I think it's pretty safe to say I have some beef with the boomers.
So do you want to start with the boomers and then we just go down the list?
I was thinking I'd actually like to try to find things to agree on first, because we're going to find tons of stuff to disagree on.
Right.
Like the boomers, of course, I've done the most research into, I suppose. So I'd like to establish some kind of common understanding here. So at the very least, my grievances are clear without me just getting into a back and forth argument, because that's not exactly productive. Cathartic,
Okay,
maybe, but not productive.
So we'll talk about the grievances and just let whatever generation has that issue, we'll address it along the way.
Yeah. Kind of some ground things that I'd like to point out.
What's
Number
up?
1, the boomers have been and still are the largest voting bloc by age group.
I didn't really think about that, but I'm not surprised at the same time.
That's the thing. Population-wise, the boomers have more sway over a democratic election than any other generation has or has had.
So, so you're saying that a good amount of leadership that we put into various offices and why things are pretty much going to shit right now, the boomers have still great influence.
Yes. The boomers have a larger influence than any other age group just by their sheer numbers alone. If we're going to point to various government policies and say that this is because women vote, because they hold the majority of it, then we're going to say the issues that boomers wanted addressed were catered to ever since they were legally allowed to vote. And just let me double check here, because I want to put a specific year to this. So let's see.
Okay.
Baby boomer.
Cool chickens. You got to elaborate about the lack of meaning. Elaborate what you mean by that.
So let's see. Okay, so 1964 is the youngest boomers. So I'm going to say that boomers have had maximum voting power starting in 1982 when they reached 18.
Agreed.
So I would say that every single election-based decision or election policy since 1982, the boomers have a significant responsibility for. If there's any boomers that disagree with this, like by all means, like let me hear it out. I'm just trying to establish some kind of grounds to agree or disagree on.
I know that's not the only thing.
Yeah.
I know that you still you're about to get into the good stuff. I already know.
Oh, because there's one thing, like, unfortunately, it doesn't look like Success Pool will be able to get in on this. So maybe I'll be able to host him on a different stream or something where we can go a little bit deeper into this. Because I would like to address this with like the boomers initially. But one thing that's been mentioned a lot is overseas shipping. So I've been trying to find some numbers for that specifically. And I guess the closest thing I can find right now is the migration rate for the US over time. And it hit its peak in 1998. It's been declining since. Now, this is the US net migration rate, and I found 1950 to 2022. And the previous peak prior to that was 1978. So, like when it talks about, like when there's a lot of talk about shipping jobs overseas and importing a whole bunch of foreign workers, I don't think that can be laid at the feet of Gen X, millennials, or the Zoomers. They don't have the political power to make that kind of influence.
That is true, but before we continue, I completely forgot to address the super chats. My bad, 25-year-old grandpa. I know you sent 2 of them, but you sent me a generous $2 donation. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Green schlongs matter. Well, you know, he ain't wrong, right? You saw what Undercrying was doing with the ladies lately. Oh, they already know. And another $2 donation. Thank you very much, 25-year-old grandpa. You or Gray have go bags? Anyone in chat? What's a go bag?
So we probably maybe a bug out bag.
Oh, yes.
That would make sense.
Yeah, I have a bug out bag. I have it. Ready to go.
I do not. I really should make that a project for the coming times.
And
now here's the thing. I'm saying 1964. I'm literally going off the Wikipedia article here. Like that can be.
I gotta address the Hammerhand donation. Ooh. Thank you very much, Hammerhand. I'm pretty sure this is the very first donation you gave, and I am highly honored. That means you believe in Sir Yeetus. You believe in great ghosts. You believe in the Warband. I know you've been around for a while, so I didn't really have to say that. I just want to sound pretty formal. But thank you very much, Hammerhand, for this generous donation. All right.
Yeah.
You're still the OG, man.
Also, Hammerhand, if you're still listening, like if you need some high seas action, get in contact with me and let me know what you want.
All right. I'm ready for the stats. I'm ready.
Yeah. Well, I don't have too many more than that because I just have been glancing through them now. But I'm also looking like manufacturing. I can't see any particularly strong correlation. Like the most I can see is that was a big manufacturing employment crash in the US around the year 2000. Now, again, like millennials, I can't point that at. That could be Gen X.
Yeah, I'll say Gen X as well. Because Gen X is they're in their late 20s, around there, 30s. Let me look. They're the working force. So
Evil Hermit, look, In order to join the Red Pill cult, especially the Warband sect, making your robe is an elaborate part of the initiation process. It must be hand woven out of hemp. I thought that the secret code written in goat's blood got to everyone and was clear on this.
Oh shit! It's crazy how many people want to call us a cult. It's insane. But
I figure embrace it and just have fun with it.
when it comes to you said that there was a crash in 2000.
I'm looking specifically at manufacturing output versus employment, and there was a major crash in manufacturing employment in the year 2000, and it has not recovered. It's dropped well below 1950 by 2010.
Huh. You boomers got a lot of explaining to do about that. And Gen X.
That's the other thing. And now, is this every single boomer? Of course not.
Right.
Just like not every Gen Z is a binary trans hobgoblin, just like not every single millennial is an entitled social media addict eating avocado toast. These are stereotypes. And just like not every Gen Xer is a cocaine smoking hair metalist.
No, that is true. That is true. But the biggest gripe that I completely agree with you 1,000,000%, and you explained it to cesspool, in the last stream, of how much the boomers, they literally give no contribution whatsoever to the future generation in the sense of any type of good advice, any type of good teachings. It's nothing. They literally splurge all their money thinking that they'll have money forever, because the boomers in the early 1960s, right, or late 1960s, the economy was doing pretty well, pretty great. Honestly, one of the best times in U.S. history, to my knowledge.
Yeah.
And what's up?
Well, I want to put down this phrase right here. A society grows great when old men plant trees whose shade they know they shall never sit in.
So what do you mean by that?
It means that a society grows better when the older generation plants seeds for the younger generations to thrive that they know they will not benefit from.
I completely agree with that. I do.
Now, to the boomers in this chat, can you honestly say that your generation, the majority of your generation, has done that?
I know Cesspool's a boomer, but if any other guys are boomers, let me know. Let me know. Write it down too, because you can bring that up when the call-ins come in.
Because I don't see that. In fact, I see very much the opposite. I see the old men cutting down the saplings planted by younger generations to feed their own fires.
Bingo. And they have the audacity to look down on millennials, and at this point also Gen Zs. And when
this is the other thing.
Oh, what's up?
Sorry, this is the gripe too. The work hard. Oh, you're just lazy. The boomers, if they are being honest, cannot say that they would have the same level of success in the modern era, in the modern economy, if they put in the exact same skill and level of effort that they put in as boomers, should they have been reincarnated as any successor generation.
No, honestly, I think the boomers will lose their fucking minds. Honestly, I think they will lose their minds based on the because the power of the dollar in 2022 is, you know, uh, figuratively speaking, a fraction of what it was in the 1960s.
Like, and here's the thing, I would really love to hear from boomers, like, what did your first house cost? What job did you have? What education level did you have to get that job? What was your monthly salary at said job? I'd want to hear the details as to how they were employed, how easily they were employed, and how far their purchasing power went. And then to compare that to the modern reality of what they would be in that exact same situation today.
I know a boomer personally that was able to take care of his 3 kids and his wife off of his salary alone as a postal office, the person that delivers mail. He was able to support his entire family and be able to afford his house off of that salary alone. Holy shit. And that boils my blood when that very same generation wants to come at us like, oh, you lazy sack of shits. Like, are you kidding me right now? Like, do you see the prices? The fact that you are still the only reason you have a roof over your head is because of our fucking taxes. All right, so back the fuck up. But of course, the boomers had it so great. The reason why the country is decaying right now is because the millennials and Gen Zs are not working hard enough.
And this is where I take submission. Now, Successful says that he's been gathering up an archive of advice from the boomers. I'm curious about that. But this is the issue. Are these lessons applicable? And there's also a bit of a catch-22. How can the boomers have great advice on one hand, but also say, well, we were deceived and fooled, we didn't know any better?
Only 0.001% of, like, I'll say 10 boomers are willing to admit that they learned from their naiveness. Majority of you boomers, oh hell no, y'all want to beat your chest like, oh yeah, I had an awesome, yeah, even when the gas prices are reaching like $10 a gallon. Well, maybe you should just get a 5th job. Like, the fuck?
Well, and it's the thing, like, one of the examples that keeps getting thrown to me is just get a roommate. Like, notwithstanding that it's not exactly easy to find a roommate that's dependable these days to begin with. Not everyone has some sort of friend connection who's also single and looking for an extra roommate.
Do you know how many roommates we need at this moment? I ain't trying to live with like 3-4 different other people. Fuck that. But at this point,
like, I've been there. I've been there. I've done that. Like, I did the roommate dance for better part of a decade. There were some sketchy fucking times. And I was left holding the bag more than once.
Especially the druggies. You didn't know they were doing drugs until you walked in on them one day. Like, what the fuck? Are you gonna get me arrested, bruh?
Yeah, like, I have straight up had, like, one of my roommates get into a straight up fist fight with the landlord and had to be removed by the cops.
Are you kidding me, bro? Oh, I bet that was so fucking annoying. Oh.
You want to know what the trigger was?
What happened?
The landlord offered him a job.
Say what now?
Yeah.
No. Come on. No. Wait, was your I'm sure you don't know, but
he had issues. Oh no, I knew this guy pretty well. I'd actually helped him get a job which he then fucked me over with by not showing up and making a whole bunch of bullshit excuses.
And do you know how many people right now that are willing to get hired at this point? And at the same time, there's a flaw that I will talk about with Gen X and millennials when it comes to jobs. That we'll talk about that later in the stream. But yeah, that's crazy. See, and that's why I say I can't do a roommate. Like if it's a family member or a friend I've known for like a very long time, then sure. But I can't just pull somebody off the street, say, "Hey, you want to live with me, bro?" Like, no. First off, I don't even know who they're bringing in and out the fucking apartment.
Yeah, actually, that was
That's
another thing. There was a completely different roommate at this same situation who was friends with a dude who did a fair bit of cocaine. And he straight up punched a wall and got into an argument with the landlord and was straight up, and then the roommate was straight up told, "Don't bring that guy again over here again, or I'm calling the cops." Like they're like just this one house, like with a couple different roommates, there were 3 separate incidents that ended up involving the police to some capacity.
I agree. And to conclude my side, everybody in the chat, I know that if you're by yourself as a man and you're doing your own thing, you know, you have your own job and you know, you're only pretty much focusing on you, it's not as bad as somebody having a family. So put a 1 in the chat if you believe that you can support a family with just your income alone.
No, okay, and here's the thing. Alpha Stash is saying get a studio. Look, I don't know what studio prices are where you are, but a studio apartment back when I was having these kind of situations was $1,700 a month, and this was pre-pandemic.
Oh, uh and chat. So when I said when it comes to a family, I'm talking about you, I'm sure a lot of you guys are already well into your careers probably. But at this moment, in 2022, are you able to support a wife and 2 or 3 kids, possibly a house with just your income alone? Put a 1 if you say yes, put a 2 if you say hell no, I cannot support a family with just my income alone.
Now, okay, now here's the thing. Rio straight up saying studios are 1,000 in Miami. It's horrible here. $1,000 a fucking month for a studio apartment. I have never heard of prices that good in my life.
No, only
If
in
that's
the
bad for you, then what the hell is $1,700?
I know studio apartments that were $6,000.
Like I said, if you guys are gonna give a suggestion, I want to see some numbers. I want to see some prices.
See, it's only cheap when you're living in the middle of nowhere, like the Midwest. That's the only place I could think of where it's relatively cheap. But let's keep it real, especially with the inflation that's kicking in right now. $1,000, that's a lot. It will hurt anybody's pocket. That's a average income man.
I can't find any place around here like that wouldn't cost me at least 60% of my monthly income in just keeping a roof over my head.
And that's just the beginning. And I know everybody in the chat right now that's happy your own place. The bills never end. It never ends. And the rent is one of the biggest. Yes, one of the biggest. I'm sure you guys know how many bills you possibly have to pay every month, right? Depending on where you live. It's countless bills: car insurance, phone bill, health insurance, house insurance, or let's say house insurance, property insurance.
Okay. Sorry, no, here's something here. Brandon Trueblood, don't fucking rent. Brandon, how the hell am I supposed to be able to save up the principal to put a down payment on a house to even be allowed into it?
Hold on,
I'm
where is
sorry,
he?
where am I going to get 20 to 30 grand?
Bread and True Blood, just keep it real. A lot of people out here has no choice but to rent. They have no choice. They
Like,
have none.
yes, mortgage payments are way fucking cheaper than rent. I absolutely know that and agree with that. It's getting the principal investment that is required for you to get a house in the first place that is bloody impossible.
Because you gotta remember the average how can you look up Gray the average price of housing at least in the United States? Because you gotta pay 20% of that at least. Or sorry, down payment, 20% of that. And houses are fucking
Yeah, okay,
expensive.
okay. Elena Pickens, you don't need that much. Fuck you. Yes, I do. I have asked
Hey,
around. I
Gray.
have checked the local housing prices. Yes, you need 20 to 30K just for a down payment on a house.
Oh fucking manic. But Gray, can you look up right now the
Yeah.
prices in the
Yeah,
US?
I'm trying to find average housing price. Let's see. Is there any?
Elena. Oh, this is gonna be a great stream. Oh man, this is gonna be lit. Oh my god. Elena, if you don't have enough money to even get a house, let alone rent, how are you gonna have enough money to move to wherever you're gonna go?
Okay, so yeah, so I'll look. So here's average sales price of new homes sold in the U.S. 1965 to 2021. So let's take a look. 1965, $21,000. But let's look to like where there's like somewhere a bit more modern. 1995, $158,000.
Ooh.
2020, $391,000. Let's round that up to 400K. If you got to pay 20% of that up front, that's $80,000 for the down payment.
And let's say they're generous, 10%. That's $40,000.
40,000 fucking dollars.
And let's say 5%. Is that like what? 20,000?
Yeah, still, even at 5% for your down payment, $20,000 just for the privilege of being able to pay for the rest of the house for the next several decades.
And that's the biggest issue, I truly believe. Hey, no disrespect to the people that disagrees here. When you got your house years ago, decades ago, your first house, that's in the past. That's gone. Poof.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like Brandon Truebud, I can explain how to do it. Can you explain how to do it in 2022, not 1965?
You can't.
Like, if you have a full-on explanation, I would love to hear it in detail, because that's the thing. I want there to be a solution that the modern generation is just missing, and that all it would take is some financial consultation with a boomer to be able to solve these problems. I'd love it if that was the case. I have not found a single boomer that can provide that kind of explanation, aside from go back in time and make different financial decisions.
Yeah, working dude, we're all broke. Yeah, for the
Brandon
most part.
Trueblood, you're not in your mid-20s to early 30s, are you? You're doing it, but how much is your annual income or your monthly income? Are you doing it without any backup options? Like, just because you are currently doing it, and you're not a young dude, I've heard your voice.
Aren't you well into your career, Brandon Trueblood? That's the difference. You have a career, you have credentials, you have experience. You can probably get a good amount of jobs that are already high paying. The millennials or the younger millennials, right? The mid 1990s, right? 1994, 1996,
Yeah.
and the Gen Zs, we're getting fucked in the ass right
Yeah.
now when it comes to the economy.
Oh, hey, Brandon's saying that he can explain in detail if he calls in. So, hey, let's get a boomer in here.
Okay,
Let's
we
hear.
willing to
Let's
pay.
hear. Let's get a boomer in or
We
Gen
willing to
X. I'm
pay.
not sure
I
exactly which group.
ignored my super chats, so let me go all the way back. I'm sorry. Hey, it's gonna get real, gentlemen. It's gonna get real. It is what it is. We gotta get ready. We gotta prepare ourselves. Rio Blazezo. I can't even say your name. Let me know how you pronounce your name. Thank you for the very generous donation. This is the best cult ever, Puniti. Yes, we are the greatest cult in the history of cults. Marilyn Manson will be jealous of us.
Okay, so Brandon Troopa is Gen X. So, all right.
Aren't you
Yeah.
the oldest Gen X? Or because you're probably similar to at least I don't know. I don't know. It's like how depending on what year you're born in, you like teeter totter. Because I know like the years change at times. One fast Dak, what's going on, man? It's been a while since I've seen you on the stream. Thank you for the generous 6.99 Canadian.
Yeah.
Is it Canadian dollars?
Yeah, it's Canadian.
I did not
Yeah.
know he was Canadian. Keep up the great work, brother Yeetus. Yes, thank you very much.
1967. So, yeah, Brandon Troopa is just on the border of Gen X to boomers. So he's an
So
older. So he's an old Gen X.
yeah, he's similar to the people that were born from like 1994, 1996. You know, you could be the youngest millennial, the oldest Gen Z,
Yeah.
depending
So he's
on
right
the.
on the border. So honestly, this
Yeah,
should. Yeah, like, can you drop the StreamYard, or I can maybe drop the
I
StreamYard
will
link.
soon. I just got to get through these super
Yeah.
chats. The Ant-Man channel, $10 donation. What's going on, man? I've been seeing you pop up a lot lately in the comment section and the live streams, man. Thank you very much for your support. Boomers learn how to play the system so well that they left us nothing. Ooh. Ooh. Never really thought about that. I never thought about that. We might touch on that later on there, man. Not gonna lie. Evil Hermit, $5 donation. Thank you very much. Went into a subway the other day, and every Gen Z kid there was non-berry, trans, hobgoblin, creature with blue hair. Okay, I can't say that you're wrong. We're gonna get into Gen Z. Oh, I got a lot to say about Gen Z. I got a lot to say, but at the same time, I won't completely put them at fault. I personally won't put 100% of the blame on them. Also, let me because I know people donated over here. Where you at? Uh, Mr. Pliskin, thank you for the generous $20 donation. Thank you very much. He says, for Gen X, got the switch. Millennials got a timeout today. No, got a timeout. So for Gen X, got the switch. Millennials got a time. What you mean by that?
The Switch is like the Switch is basically a small rod to beat children with.
You motherfucker. Yeah, pretty much. He's not. Well, no. Okay. Okay, let me. No. I will say that millennials got the same thing. It started to die out.
No, I know. Like literally, I think Gen X, you could still actually beat children in school.
No, but true. But millennials, it was still pretty normal for us as well. You know, growing up when it comes to punishment, they didn't really make a big deal in the 2000s. You know, but when it hit 2010s, that's when it became like a huge deal. But at that time, we were already almost adults, so it didn't really affect us too much. But I say I'm okay. I'm not saying that I know millennials got softer compared to Gen X. I agree, but there was still plenty. I will say Gen X parents still carry on the tradition of the Switch. I think that's the best way I can describe it. Um, and I got one more person. I won't say your name. I will just say LA. You probably know who you are. Thank you for the generous donation. Uh, thank you for all that you do. I am Gen X. We got a good amount of Gen X people here today. God damn. Woo.
Well, to be fair, like they're at the point where they're young enough to be fairly tech savvy, but old enough to still have a good chunk of wealth and experience. But yeah, we've got like both Brandon Trueblood and Alpha Stash here who want to talk on buying a house. So yeah, I'm here. I'm curious to hear what they say and then kind of grill them a little bit for details.
Okay, I'm gonna address Jiraiya, and please don't go too nuts on each other. All right, it's gonna be a debate. All right, don't go. Oh, that's why you a little bitch. I know it's generational warfare, but we don't have to go down that road. But Jiraiya, Yeetus, quick question. I agree that boomers fucked a lot of things up for millennials and Gen Z, but surely you don't think that millennials who whine about everything and blued hair Gen Z are better? No. Well, I agree with you. That's what I meant. You know, eventually,
The
when you get
question is not who is better. It's the question of who is having a tougher time trying to get the same things as the previous generations. You
pretty much,
cannot say that boomers and Gen X had it harder than millennials and Gen Z. Like,
we all
if you do
had
say that, I really question either your sanity or your honesty.
we all have our own issues. Every generation is fucked up in their own way, but thing, the biggest, how do I say, blame I will put on is on the boomers. Personally, it just trickled down and it slowly got worse. I think I completely stand by that. It started with the boomers. That's why we go extra hard on the boomers. So, but I wouldn't say better or worse because we all got fucked up shit. Yeah,
And keep in
millennial.
mind, whining about petty things that you don't understand, every generation has done that. It is not new. It's just you can
Agreed.
see more of it now thanks to social media and the internet.
All right, we're gonna address this right quick. We're gonna do a call in, and then we're gonna go on to the next subject because we're far from done.
Oh, it's not. We're going to cover everything in this, but at the very least, being able to have a honest, straightforward, and in-depth discussion on these topics across generations. I'm hoping it proves useful. Like if more people are able to own property from this.
Agreed, but cool chickens progressive progress. I can't even fucking say it right now. I can't say it.
Progressivism is part of the problem. Boomers and Gen X only believe that things get better over time. This is contradictory to reality, as millennials and Gen Z can see.
And gentlemen, the only reason I can't say it because I'm lost in the sauce right now, as you can tell. I love it. I love it right now. But personally, I agree. I agree. That's why I said before about the naiveness of the boomers is one of the problems that we have. They really believe that things are the way they are today is because millennials and Gen Z are just not working hard enough, right? Screw everything else that's outside of our control. You just need to be a better workhorse, which is clearly not the case.
Yeah, let's get the call-ins in here and start breaking this down with some opposing thoughts.
Jesus Christ. There's a lot of people already. All right, I'm going to add 2 people. And guys, you're going to have to wait for a minute. Everybody else, you guys going to have to wait. Is this it's going to be a discussion about housing. Alpha Stash, what's going on?
Yo, yo.
And Brandon True Blood, what's going on?
Greetings, my brothers.
Greetings.
Okay, we're going to start with Brandon True Blood because he had a disagreement about the housing situation.
Well, I do. It's more about the financing of housing. In 2018, no, 2019, I had my second divorce, which left me with nothing. And I was overseas and couldn't get any help from anybody in my family. And, you did what you got to do to raise the capital that you need to get home. Because in America, you can make more money than you can overseas. It's cheaper to live overseas, but you can make more money here. Now, once you get here, everything costs more. And what Gray was saying about not being able to afford a down payment and keep a roof over his head is absolutely true, which is why I chose to live in a fucking tent. And I know that's not going to be for everybody. That's not going to be for everybody. But I am debt-free, living on land that I own. And slowly, I will be building a house. And I will have a house at the end of 5 years. And it's not going to be because I counted on anybody. And it's not going to be because I took any money out from the bank. Because that way is it's impossible. When I bought my first house, I spent $32,000.
For the entirety? Like that was the price?
That was a house on 2 acres of land. I spent $32,000 when I bought my first house.
Yeah, that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, you ain't getting that for anything less than $320,000.
No.
But so what you're saying is, and correct me if I'm wrong, Brandon, is instead of working harder, like in a sense of just be a complete workhorse until we get to that standard, you should live a minimalistic lifestyle.
Damn straight, that's what I'm saying.
Well, okay, here's some of the questions. Like, number one, where were you able to put down a tent?
Where was I able to put down a tent?
Yeah.
Well, I have settled in the middle of nowhere. And in Kansas, you can actually get free land.
Free land as in it's
As
if you can just say, I'm going to live on this piece of property and no one's going to send the cops to remove you.
No, free land as in the little towns here in Kansas are dying and they want people to come in and live in their little town. And they will give you free land.
I can confirm that. I know places in my hometown where I grew up where you can buy a house literally for $30,000.
Okay. Now, employment opportunities in the area. How did you make income living in the tent?
Working off my computer.
Indeed. That's the way to play it.
So you were pretty much okay. I see what you're saying.
So you lived in the tent, had like a laptop or something.
Wait, hold up. Didn't you said you had a company or something like that, or you had your own?
Well, I had a company when I was in Ukraine, but I lost that. That's gone now.
Okay, so you were just working at home, just a job,
And to get the money to come back to the U.S., I was working as an English teacher in Ukraine.
That is crazy, but okay, Gray, you can go ahead.
Yeah. So, okay, working as an English teacher overseas.
Yeah.
Like that's I mean, I suppose that anyone with a decent grasp of English can probably make the application. Like, what did you need any credentials to get that job over there?
I didn't. They all asked for them, but no, you don't really need any credentials. If you have a college degree, they prefer it, especially if you want to go to the higher paying markets like China. But
so my wife is Chinese, and she tried talking me into that. So basically, the locals, they don't know that I'm a hillbilly. So for all they know, I speak perfect English.
right,
But yeah, it's
and
very doable and very lucrative.
Yeah, you can you start out pay for teaching English in China is about $50,000 a year, and then you make your real money by giving out private tutoring.
But Brandon Trueblood, you see the issue that millennials and soon to be
God, I'd hate to be young right now.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Here's the other.
There's expectations put upon the millennials and Gen Z of still getting that house with the picket fence and all that stuff, blah blah blah. From their own family members or society in general. They're like, hey, you're supposed to get all these materials in order to be successful. But
society lies to all of us.
Yeah, of course, but including family, right? A family, like, why don't you have a family yet? Why don't you have a house yet? Why don't you got all this yet? Come on, it's not that hard. Blah blah blah, and it really like irritates the fuck out of a good amount of millennials and Gen Zs right now. So
well, I agree with that, but the problem is you're focusing more on the result. Like I made a lot of money in real estate because I knew we would be in this mess 5 years ago. The real problem is immigration. They're letting millions and millions of people come to this country, and they're not bringing houses with them. So what's that doing to the housing prices? What's that doing to the rental prices? So the only way
it's not just immigration.
No, but here'd be another example, because like I'm in a place right now which has experienced a major population boom. But it's all people who are either retiring and moving away from the city, or they work remote jobs and they don't contribute to the local economy. So anyone who wants to work locally, like in the trades, to keep shit running, they have to rent out hotels because there's nowhere to live.
Yeah.
But hey, I'm gonna keep it to the root of the situation. I know there's countless variables, but the main issue is all this goddamn pressure put on the millennials and the Gen Zs. I remember the 2008 recession. I literally had teachers warning the students, and I was in middle school around there. Yeah, I was in middle school, saying, "Hey, the economy ain't like things ain't gonna be looking too good, unfortunately. You guys may have to pick it up a bit per se, because the it's not looking too good when it comes to inflation at the time." And just all this responsibility and peer pressure, just putting everything on the current working generation, it just boggles our mind. Like, it's not just me and Gray. There's countless millennials out there, and Gen Z is feeling the same way. Like, no, we can't do the same things that boomers and Gen X did back in the day. We can't.
No. Can't.
I certainly agree with that. But there's one thing I want to mention is this. The housing market is getting ready to implode, and it's probably going to happen this fall. So it would literally be the worst possible time to buy a house right now, but maybe save some money up, maybe tell your real estate broker, hey, I got this amount of money. How big of a loan can I get? And maybe you lowball the house that someone's trying to sell in a hurry. But yeah, you got to make the connections and ask the questions. Maybe have an awkward conversation with the bank of why can I not get a lower rate, or why can I not get more money? Maybe they want you to make more money and you have to spend a year trying to get your income up. But it's a lot of hard, awkward conversations. I agree with you. It's harder now, but you can't play the boomer game of just going to a corporation and having a guaranteed high salary. Those days are over because they killed it.
I agree 1,000,000%. I agree. Like, don't get me wrong. Me or Gray, we'd be able to be on the lookout and possibly get a house in the future. hell, maybe even sometime next year. You know,
You'll have nothing and like it.
we have the knowledge. What'd you say?
I said you'll have nothing and like it.
Klaus
Yeah,
Schwab.
definitely, right? Put that chip in your wrist. Do it. Anyway, so at the end of the day, that's our biggest gripe, at least with the boomers. Like it was Gen X, I have a different issue with Gen X, but when it comes to the boomers, how they look down on the rest of the future generations because we're not busting our ass enough for them to live good. Because once again, the only reason they still have roofs over their head is because of our taxes and shit, right? Because I know a good amount of them don't even have savings right now. So
I have no sympathy for Gen X or the boomers, and I am Gen X.
Ditto to that.
Oh, what'd you say, Alpha?
Ditto to that. Absolutely. The boomers are the most guilty. Gen X is slightly less guilty. But I've talked to the old timers, the greatest generation. Well, they weren't that great because they raised the baby boomers. But
That's what I agree. I agree with that.
They knew they screwed up, and they told every single one of them told me they screwed up.
And if you think about it, the greatest generation started this outsourcing. They started it during the Korean War when they started outsourcing building military trucks to Japan.
Well, that and their wives were not mothers anymore. They would work and just throw money at their boomer kids and screwed them
Let
up.
them be raised by the television.
Yeah.
And Francisco, I completely agree. It's easy to look down at people when you are in the ivory tower. I like that saying. You know, I might have to steal it, bro. Unfortunately, you know, we're in a communist regime now, so it's our phrase. So, yeah. But
this is the thing is like, I would be far more okay with boomers if they were just like, okay, yeah, we realize that you guys are completely fucked, and that we bear a load of responsibility for that. So we're not going to call you pieces of shit.
Yeah, it's basic narcissism. How many narcissists have you ever heard admit that they were wrong?
Well, the boomers could still solve this problem. Social Security was set up for 5% of the population to be supported. If they would allow, which they never will, the age of retirement to go up to where it should be so that 5% of the population is supported by Social Security, then a lot of these problems would go away because these motherfuckers that have to keep working.
Yeah, because since we're older now, well, not older, since we live longer now, I personally believe that we should raise the age of retirement. That's just me. If you're going to be living off my tax money, you should be able to use the money for actual living expenses and stuff, not going on vacations.
That's the other thing. Like, I'm sorry, who the fuck is able to go on a goddamn vacation so regularly and have any sort of long-term savings plan when they're not employed? I'm thinking, motherfucker, you're going to expect me to look after your ass when you're incapable of wiping your own.
Exactly.
You're going to expect to fucking move into the house that I don't fucking have, or me to pay for a personal care worker to provide for you.
And don't forget the fact that they got a reverse mortgage on what house they did have.
Bingo. So definitely raise the age of retirement, or just get rid of welfare. Get rid of all of it, because more and more Americans, right? I don't know really much about Canadian welfare, but the Social Security in America is being way too reliant on the most laziest, the most fucking single mothers, right? Single mothers is the number one thing, but you know, it's just people that feigns injuries, that feigns illness, that feigns all this stuff, you know, and they just do that so they can get that free check. Like there was a woman, not that one that I showed a couple streams ago, but there was a different woman that was called the welfare queen that had 8 kids, and she's getting paid more than me. More than me.
Yep.
What the fuck?
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. Like my ass working 40 plus hours a week for above minimum wage is still making less than someone living in government subsidized housing on welfare.
Just
And those
because she
kids
can
will
keep her
grow up
legs
to be
closed,
welfare queens.
she's getting close to 6 fucking figures.
Right now, a single mom with 2 children gets the equivalent of $75,000 a year.
We're going to include the child support because I'm
That's-
assuming
That's including the child support figured in at $350 per child.
agreed. But hey, Alpha, are you Gen X?
I'm a millennial.
All right, I will bring you on soon. You'll stay there. But I'm now about to get in on the Gen X. What pisses me off about Gen X? All right, man.
Peace.
Hey, who else here? Everybody in the chat. Who else here is actually Gen X?
Me?
If I don't see any other Gen X, then I'm gonna keep Alpha here.
Oh, there's others. Dak is Gen X.
Oh yeah, Dak is Gen X.
Backwoods Bachelor's Gen X.
Carry on. Oh shit! All right, I didn't know that. He sounded a lot younger. Damn, I honestly thought you were a millennial, bro. Okay, Alpha, I'll definitely bring you back for the millennial part because let's keep it real. You know, we millennials, we have our faults as well.
Honestly, I think that millennials will probably roast millennials harder than any other generation.
You're right. Millennials, we don't hold back. But I'll let you do your thing, Alpha. I don't know if you're going to just stay in the background for now or you're just going to head out.
You keep me in the background. I'll go get a root beer and come back.
All right, too easy.
Cool.
Peace. All right, let me bring in. Where'd he go? I thought he was in here. Damn it. Hey, one of you guys got to go. Okay. Dax, I'm pretty sure you're not Gen X.
Dax is Gen X. One past Dak is Gen X.
What about Dax the dog?
Oh, I don't know about that.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if you're Gen X, bro, but I'm trying to get Carry On up in here. You'll be back later. No worries. I'm gonna have a whole room full of millennials. All right. And go ahead and join Carry On. Hurry, please, because I know my amazing subscribers are not going to hesitate to click this link.
Yeah, I've got to be out there shilling.
Yeah.
I know.
Speaking of
I know how you love them.
You and your shilling, bro. Like it's very creative. Like, I'm not even mad.
You know, it gets you lots of money.
Like I literally keep my eye out for your shilling because I'm like I wonder what he's going to say next. Because it does make me laugh though. It really does. I'm like, okay, he's gonna say that today. All right, it's cool. All right, let me see if anybody else is Gen X. Who's Gen X? Anybody Gen X? No, because I'm just gonna keep Brandon. All right, let me read this super chat. Thank you, Cyrus McCormick, for the $10 donation. Very generous today. Hey, I effed up on Twitter. I hate that site. I don't know why anybody gets a Twitter account. Not once. Even when I was
strictly to follow Chronic, and that's the only good reason to get Twitter. You got to follow Chronic and you got to follow Manic. If you have a Twitter and you don't do either of those, get the fuck out.
Yeah, you're banished from the Warband. Banished.
You're out of the cult.
I thought I was responding to what Chronic was responding to, but what I said ended up responding to Chronic sad face. I bet Chronic's like, yo, what the fuck? Who's this guy? Oh shit. Hey, it's all good. Hey, just let Chronic know, man. Like, hopefully he doesn't roast you to oblivion, but he's pretty chill. He ain't sensitive like these fucking liberals out here. You good, Cyrus. You good. He's Lord Kush for a reason. All right. Somebody, Dax, are you Gen X or not? Because you just joined back. Why? Anyway, carry on. What's going on, man?
Dude, you ready for that? I was joking. I said I was Gen Z. Why did
Sir,
Oh,
Yeetus, you gotta stop taking
got
what
that
Carry
voodoo.
On says seriously.
I got that voodoo.
He's honestly the second biggest troll aside from Rishi.
All right. I need somebody that's Gen X. Okay. Carry on. We'll get to you when it's Gen Z. We'll get to you when it's Gen Z.
Okay, yeah, I'm fine with that.
All right. Well, I'll keep you in the background because I know you got a lot to say. Anybody that's the Gen X, go ahead and join. Be Gen X. Okay. Or Brandon is going to be the one defending you guys. You're going to leave your Gen X brethren hanging like that? What kind of Gen X peers are you? Come on.
Standard kind, I guess.
We're real men in Gen X. We don't need the help.
we got a set of balls on like you millennials. Oh my god. Okay. Well, I guess since nobody else is Gen X wants to join, Brandon. Oh, what I have to say about Gen X. Oh man, do you know how many Gen Xers are coming into the manosphere with the most blue pill bullshit I've ever heard?
99% of them.
It irks. Oh my god. They can't comprehend what's going on these days.
No, the world changed, and they didn't get the message until the divorce court.
I agree, and the fact that at this point, the world that they lived in when they were young adults in the 1980s, right? 1980s, yep. Definitely not the same life. Like it is literally the women that you mess with when you were younger. The farthest reach that they can have, for the most part, is within their town or city. Now women can go around the world or contact men around the world. How can an average man compete with that? Knowing that some weirdo fucking perverted prince in Dubai is like, hey, yo, let me take a shit on you for $1 million. They're like, oh, okay. And then she's out of here, gone. It's like, what the fuck? I don't get $1 million.
How do you do it? What do you do as a what do you do as a Gen Xer when you figure that shit out? You go monk mode, baby.
Bingo. And I definitely agree. But it irks the fuck out of me when the Gen X are like, oh, you just don't know how to talk to women. Okay. You hear bitching and moaning about your problems. But I guarantee you never approached 5 different women in the club. And you never even been 50 meters within Puniti. Okay. Maybe you need to stop being a bitch and cold approach that woman. Tell her you want to fuck. Like, what? No, I'm going to go to jail within the next 10 minutes if I did that.
Like, well, no. You know, in the old days, you used to have to talk to women to get them to have sex with you. But, you know, life has changed. Life has changed. You know, the club isn't even the club anymore. You go out with your friends to the club. You don't go out to the club to meet people anymore.
No, the club is pretty much okay. At least with my experience, Gray, when was the last time you went to a club?
I guess that would be a metal concert in a like a kind of a seedy dive bar. Not that seedy, but kind of back room of a bar 4 years ago.
Pretty much a bunch of flashy lights, and half the women are off on the perks and all that stuff. Yeah, yeah, that type of club. Yeah.
Well, this one was like a lot more mosh pits, but generally yes.
So at least okay, at least with the I don't know if it's the same for the club that you went to, Gray, but when it comes to me, the men and women are always like separated, like grouped together. Like these these days, you know that women they're broke as fuck or they're just stingy with their money, right? Because they're literally sitting with 10, 11 friends
Oh,
at a
that's
fucking
nothing new. They
of the ball.
always did that.
Oh yeah, they always did. Okay, I kind of figured. And but a bunch of men, right? Like we're not really, except for the simps. I think that they can just go up there like, oh hey ladies, ooh what's going on? No, unless you're Brad Pitt, don't fucking do that. There's a bunch of dudes that just this at the bar, just chilling, having a great time. There is no interaction. There's no communication, except if the woman wants a free drink or she just deems you as very attractive. The rest of the men are shit out of luck, like literally. And I'm saying majority of the men, they don't have that much luck unless she gets drunk enough or after hours when everybody's going home and the leftover men and women are like, oh my, okay, oh shit, I need to find somebody. Oh, I ain't going home without getting laid. I'm getting somebody right now. Let me see. Oh, there's a hip over there. Come here. Here, just sneak out the back. I don't want my friends to see. Come on, let's go. Let's take this taxi.
Well, as a monk, I don't have any input on this. I have no idea how to tell you guys how to pick up women or anything in this day and age. I took a look at the world around me the last time I got divorced and said, "Fuck this shit. This is crazy."
Yeah, it's the fact that the boomers look down on the future generations for financial reasons. The Gen Xers look down, more specifically, Gen Xer men look down on the future generation of men when it
I
comes
look
to
down on crybabies. I can't fucking stand a crybaby.
Yeah, crybabies are definitely the worst.
I
But see,
can't
that's
get
the
any
thing.
women. I'm not the part of the 80%. Fuck you. Do something else.
But that's the thing. The Gen Xers, they will take any type of concerns that a man has when it comes to the dating market as complaining and whining and bitching and they just don't want to hear it. They're like,
Well, unless there is a solution in there, that's all it is.
but
okay. No, sorry, I actually want to jump in here. This is the problem. If guys knew the solution, then they wouldn't have anything to complain about. You air your grievances when you don't have a solution.
Why do you air your grievances? You think a woman's going to fucking have some sympathy on you and give you the magic password for pussy?
But
no, I'm not saying you air your grievances to the target of your conquest. But more than enough times, like if I've got like, hey, I talked to someone about some shit that's going on at the moment, most of the time there's at least one person there who at least has a piece of advice that they're willing to offer, or they might even have a solution that they can assist with. The airing of grievances when you don't have a solution is an open call for please help me, give me some guidance and answers. And saying like, oh, shut the fuck up, you crybaby, is like, yeah, thank you very much, motherfucker. I'm well aware that I need to pull myself up by my bootstraps and solve my own shit. But clearly you don't fucking know how to either. So
no, these women, there's no fucking solution to these women. There's none. As far as I can tell, it's fucking hopeless.
But there's a difference between saying, look, dude, there is no solution. It's just a fucked up situation. Focus on this. Go to the gym, get jacked, focus on yourself, and kick this can down the road for a while. That's different than saying, stop bitching, you little baby.
Yeah, just go approach a woman, tell her, oh yeah, I like you. Let's just go back to my place. See, here's the biggest thing when it comes to Gen Xers where they don't like it when, Millennials shows the truth to their face. They hold a mirror to their face. Gen Xers lied. They lied how to treat women. They're the biggest simps of them all, especially in the Black community. You know, that's the biggest place where it got bad. You know, especially with the R&B music and all that stuff. Like, yeah, treat her like a queen. Yeah, you're the best. You're my world. You're my universe. Ooh. And
Thank God
women
for
are
Barry White
repulsed.
in the 80s.
Women are repulsed by that. So while we're listening to, you know, the Gen Xers, right? The millennials listen to the Gen Xers and the family, or they're listening to society and the media and all that stuff. They're the ones that heavily push the simpantry that's happening today, in my opinion.
And I agree with you, because who's in the fucking positions of power in like the media studios right now? It's the Gen Xers. They're the ones that are the corporate heads that are saying ominous dominus, go ahead, go woke.
And, you know, I'm curious about that. Who, like, I'd actually want to look at the current head of Disney and see what gen they are. Are they Gen X or are they Boomer?
Well, I bet you they're Gen X.
Because there's a bit of overlap there. The Boomers haven't completely left power. I think. Let's see, Bob.
No, but I was strictly talking about dating.
You know, and well, you're talking about societal pressure.
Bob Chapek, 1960, technically Boomer.
Yeah, I was talking about how society is saying at that current time within the late 80s and early 90s, well, till today, whatever. They're literally, oh yeah, put your woman on the pedestal. She is the best thing since sliced bread. Treat her like Cleopatra. Like, what the fuck? And you hear it in the music, you hear it in the talk shows, you hear it everywhere.
And half of my brothers, half of the guys that I grew up with and hang out with, are still married, and half of them are not. Half of them are like me. But, you know, you won't even see half ever again. Ever. Because the older people get, the less the commitment is there.
But do you know what irks me the most, though? Plenty of the Gen Xers, and I would say a decent amount of the older millennials, even when they got divorced on multiple occasions, they still push that narrative that, oh, you just didn't find the right one, bro. There's plenty of in the scene, man. What you talking about? You don't want to get married. Are you
That's
afraid
exactly
of
right. They do that. I did that. The first time I got divorced, the second wife was like, I deserve a trophy wife. You know, it's like, I deserve that. That's what I deserve. I wasn't thinking, I just deserved it. I deserve to go out and just sow my seed wherever and never get married again. I wasn't thinking like that when I got divorced the first time. I was thinking get married again to a young, beautiful woman.
But those uncles
and guess what? The results were the same.
Right. You know, and the uncles and the older people in your family that already been through the ringer.
They're like, settle down, dude. Settle down. Find a good woman. Yeah, and it's a lie. It's a lie.
But that's my
okay. Here's a phrase that's fucking disturbing. The first marriage is the practice marriage.
Oh God, don't even get me started on that.
Yeah. I heard that from one dude, and he basically said, yeah, I tell my son the first marriage is the practice marriage. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, don't get married. Don't listen to fucking. Don't get married ever.
And those are the Gen Xers that actually tries to help the next generation.
If you want children, if you want to be a dad, because I understand that. That's a powerful urge. Get a surrogate.
How much do they cost again? Was it like what, 10 grand, something like that?
It's gone up, but it was
fuck.
It was 10 grand about in the year 2000.
Right, to let's put it relatively. Cheaper than a divorce, more expensive than a sex doll.
Yeah, but
Oh.
if you want kids, that's what you should do. You cannot trust.
90,000 to 130,000. What? No. That can't be right.
That's the 130. That's a ripoff. You can go rent a womb and I guarantee you, after Russia gets through Ukraine, you'll be able to get a $10,000 womb again.
Yeah, that's probably the price to get an American woman, Yeetus.
Probably,
Yeah.
because I'd go overseas.
If you don't, like me, if you're a guy like me and you don't care what color your kid is, you just want somebody that shares half of your genes, you can go to a very poor country and get one for 10, 15,000. Easy.
If I cared about genes, I'd get a Nigerian baby. He'll go to the NBA or NFL.
Well, Yeetus, have you ever been to Africa?
Only once.
I've been all over Africa, and if I was going to get a African woman, I would go to Kenya.
Kenya, huh?
Yep.
Ooh.
That they were the nicest people in Kenya.
Well,
the female companionship is outstanding.
Well, yeah, I heard the Kenyan women can like throw down in the kitchen. Like,
oh goddamn, can they ever?
Damn, I need to go to Kenya. Now that I think about it, I need to go visit there. Oh yeah, see, gentlemen, it's not okay. I know before. I have a huge issue with African American women. That's the biggest issue. Okay. Outside,
don't marry any of those girls over there either. They've all got the internet.
Yeah, I won't marry. That's the biggest thing. The biggest issue is the African American. You saw, and I saw it. I posted a video today, once again proving my point on how African American women treats African American men. You saw how she tried to square up on that guy because he asked a simple question. Why do you and they want to act stupid and confused on why black men doesn't want their own women? Come on, gentlemen. You saw the video. Like, even people in the comments, I think Brandon Trueblood as well. I don't know if you, but people in the comments like, oh, damn. Now that I'm seeing these type of videos, I feel bad for black men in America. Like, thank you for seeing what we deal with on a daily basis, because it's not just other black women, the women within our family as well, gentlemen. Because whether we like it or not, the black community is a matriarchy. It's a matriarchy. Like, literally, black women are the one that dictates what a black man and a black woman is supposed to do. And yes, they have. Okay, it's some weird shit that happens in the black community, and the biggest thing is the son husband. Okay, that's the thing that's getting out of control right now. Since there's
we're getting off topic.
Huh? What's up?
We're getting off topic.
Oh, it's fine, but I'm gonna finish this. Since we have a shit ton of single mothers, and no man in sight that's gonna take them seriously, for some fucking weird, it's just borderline. I ain't even gonna say the word because I know Susan's gonna look at my channel. Borderline weirdo reasons. They put the responsibility and all the emotional trauma on their own sons. And eventually it'll become son husbands, right? Kevin Durant is a big example. His mom is literally on him like a attached twin. Yeah, and literally treats him like a. It gets weird. It gets weird, Brandon. Like I'm sure.
I've seen Kevin Durant's situation. It's pathetic.
It's so weird. But yeah, let's get back on topic. When it comes to Gen Xers, it's the dating aspect is what really pissed me off. It's no matter what we try to explain, like, oh, you see it as complaining, but look, this is literally what's happening. Like we got the data, we got the studies, we got the videos. There's like hell, look at my fucking channel. Like, like we got videos of what millennials and Gen Z is dealing with. Gen Z men.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like, oh, how dare you come to me with all this yapping and talking and bitching and moaning? Okay, let me give you these 3 steps on how to talk to women. Okay, like
I would never insult anybody's intelligence like that.
you don't
But
know what a Twitter is.
I certainly, I get sick of fucking hearing it.
I guess like you don't even know what a fucking Twitter is. How the fuck you gonna try to tell me that I'm wrong with the situation that I'm in? Like, it's crazy. Like
I had Twitter before you could shave.
Like I'm sure you dealt like every generation deals with it. Like I'm sure you dealt with it with the previous generation, undermining the new experience that was happening within your life. Because within the last 20th century, we advanced a lot.
Yeah.
Like it was a freight train of countless ideologies, countless technology development. We can barely keep up. I'm not even old yet, and I can barely keep up with what's going on right now. Like it is getting crazy. It is getting like I'm telling you, by next week we're gonna have mind control. Like what's the next generation? Gen Alpha? I forgot what it was.
Yeah, Gen Alpha.
Babies floating and shit with telekinesis and shit. Like what is going on? Like what the fuck? We got demons. There's demons. I'm gonna be that crazy boomer in the future. Bring back the Salem witch trial.
Yeah.
Oh, but hey, at least you hear what I gotta say about Gray. I don't know if you have anything else to say about the Gen X.
Well, we've kind of dove into a lot of it, but there is, at least I've found, there's a lot of a simping attitude. Like one example was me talking to my coworkers, and they had some sort of story about, like one was saying that his wife asked, "Oh, you don't seem to listen to me." And I said, "Did you respond with, because I want to have intelligent conversation?" I got some fucking looks, and my boss straight up said, "Well, I can see why you're not married." I was like,
Oh yeah, you guys are the ones that made up the happy wife, happy life shit.
Oh
Yeah,
no,
meanwhile-
that's way older than us.
yeah.
Oh, okay, never mind. But it was.
Yeah, but
I still said it.
yeah, but meanwhile, I'm looking at them like, I have not heard a single one of you say a kind word about your wives the entire time I've known you.
You guys are hanging out by the bars, taking a few drinks. You guys pull up in the driveway, wait there for around 30 minutes. Like, you guys don't want to go home.
You guys wouldn't even go in the fucking house if your television. Like, you guys don't even want to go in the house if you had access to your fucking television and video games outdoors.
Oh, you would not. You will.
That's the thing. Like, and they don't. Like they fucking. Like, all of their actions show that they do not want to spend time, like, with their wives. Maybe they want to spend time with their kids. I've seen kind of mixed results there, but they definitely don't want to spend time with their wives. And it's like, you have not, like, you seem to think that I should want it, and subtly trying to shame me into correcting my behavior to your standards. It's like, y'all are married to the same fucking sack of potatoes. Even at my most blue pill, I would not have looked twice at the kind of women you're with. And you're acting like it's some kind of accomplishment.
I feel that how do I say? they don't have a way out in the sense of, once again, another saying, even though it's before Gen X, it's cheaper to keep her type situation. You know, as much as they want to leave, they don't want to sacrifice their livelihood to do that, because they know that most likely she is going to win the case, you know, in the divorce and family courts. So they just bite their teeth as hard as they can and try to imagine, you know,
They bite their tongue and they consume
Angelina
drugs
Jolie,
to cope.
you know, Pamela Anderson. They imagine that in their head, you know, when they, you know, go into bed for sexy time. You know,
No, bold of you to assume they get sexy time, Yeetus.
Oh, I can't laugh.
I have never heard more fucking like, well, it's not like I was using it anyway, than from married Gen Xers.
Did you hear about the married Gen Xer that went to his doctor and he said, "Doc, my wife's getting pissed at me. I'm having trouble getting it up." And the doc says, "Well, let me give you a checkup." And the doctor looks at everything, looks at his T levels and everything like a cat. And he says, "Can I meet with your wife for a minute?" So he goes and examines his wife, and he comes back to the guy and he says, "Don't worry, there's nothing wrong with you. I couldn't get it up for her either."
Yeah. Hey, even though she's a grandma now, Pamela Anderson is hot as fuck back in her prime. I'll give her that.
Oh, back in her prime, Pam was the shit.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like, it's how do I say? I say Gen Xers took the biggest brunt when it comes to divorce and all that stuff, in my opinion. Gen Xers, you guys are getting fucked up till this day. Even in 2022, there's divorces going on right now.
Yeah.
And honestly, I have not met a single married man that did not have some kind of drug dependency, be it booze, cigarettes, or weed.
I do like me some booze.
But you ain't married.
Yes, but the stupidity you have to deal with for you know, come on, Brandon, you know, come on, you know.
No, I'm just hey, you're throwing them out there and I'm laying them down. That's all it is.
I'm just saying, you've been in the military. You know how it just, you deal with a lot of idiots, and it like, come on, bro.
Yeah.
But eventually it just becomes a party, you know, like, you know, thank God I'm not a fucking raging alcoholic, like how a lot of veterans turn up to be, you know. I really do hope they get help, which unfortunately a lot of them can't get help. 22 a day, gentlemen. We'll speak on that in the future.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it is crazy, just in general, with the Gen X's hypocrisy when it comes to the dating market. And that's the biggest thing that irks me, you know. How feminists, they want to put up a facade. You know, oh yeah, my single life is great. Yeah, you know, don't pay attention to my 4 cats. All right, hey, they're just doing their own thing. You want some wine? Similar to a lot of Gen X husbands, they want to put up a facade like, oh yeah, my married life is great, it's awesome, is this, but it's clear that they're dead on the inside.
Yeah. Yep. There's a lot of that out there too. And,
yes.
You know, unless the person is actively in the dating scene, you shouldn't take advice from them. Like, I never took advice from my grandfather. I took advice from my older brothers. You know, you got to consider the source. There's no way they're current. Like the things I used to do, I used to be able to go up, tell a funny story, and get to know somebody. You can't do that anymore. And if I told somebody to do that as dating advice now, they'd laugh me out of the room.
That is true. That is true. The world definitely changed. But hey, do you want to stay in here for the next conversation because Gray, you have a conversation you didn't finish last time.
Which one?
Cesspool.
Is he here?
Yeah.
All right, hell yeah.
All right, you down? Okay. Let me ask Cesspool. Cesspool, what is going on, man?
Puniti.
Pooh Niti, I'm gonna leave the floor to you and Gray because I know you guys need to continue the conversation. I cut it short last time, so go for it.
Well, what I wanted to say is that both you and Gray have misplaced anger issues that you really need to address here.
What?
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 What you got? Like, can you
okay,
go into
Gray.
a
Yeah,
bit more detail on that specifically?
Okay. You saw that list that I sent you as far as like the rules for radicals from Saul Alinsky, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Going back to your number 8, which is the class warfare. Okay, this is all designed to divide and conquer to where this way everybody is easier to be assimilated into their new world order. All governments are corporations that are designed to incrementally strip you of your rights and create a master slave class. Okay, this is why I truly believe that, we either need politicians that are licensed politicians to where this way, we have like a police force which can monitor the politicians whenever they screw up, because they're real quick to send all the peons off to war to fight their battles to where they remain rich while we just die. And it's like, my thoughts are, fuck them and feed them fish heads. Friends don't let friends trust the government, ever. And what I'm saying about the misplaced anger is this. When you look at how everything has been basically ramped up over, generations, and I'm talking about, this goes from the Federal Reserve Act of 1913, the Bolshevik Revolution, the suffragette fire bombings, and the, feminist movement. All these things were created at about roughly the same time in the early part of the 20th century. And incrementally, it has been getting gradually worse and worse and worse. And so what you're seeing is that boomers, now, I won't say that they are the evil people that you are because I know my generation quite well. They grew up under the greatest generation, which taught them, hey, if you fuck up, you're going to get your ass spanked. Okay? And so what advice that they got from their parents worked for them. They think that it automatically transfers over to everybody else, and it doesn't. While at the same time, they have still been steadily, increasing the debt load on everybody, making things more difficult for everybody. And I'm talking about the system of usury. The same corporations that own the corporations that we call governments. And this is the technocracy end of it, okay? Everything that we're seeing is by design created to make you a slave. It doesn't matter your skin color, it doesn't matter your age. Everybody has to be a slave. Period. End of story.
Before Gray continues, I'm gonna die on the hill about the Gen X bullshit because there's plenty of proof on YouTube. So that I can show proof with the symmetry bullshit. I'm not saying that you're wrong, but my perspective on the Gen X shit, that's a hill I'm gonna die on. But go ahead, Gray.
But you're a crypt fiend. You're already dead.
How dare you?
And Gray ain't got no lower torso, so he ain't even got a penis.
What? No, but in all seriousness, like Cesspool, once again, I'm not saying that you're wrong with what you said. I'm not. But the issue with Gen X looking down on the future generations of men when it comes to the dating market, there's plenty of proof out there, and that's a hill I'm gonna die on. I had to deal with one person personally, that bald black guy. I forgot what his name was. Literally, that motherfucker was so ignorant when it comes to today's dating market. It's not even funny. He was literally
Jesse
like,
Lee Peters?
what'd you say?
Was it Jesse Lee Peterson?
No, no. Even though I heard some recent shit about him.
Oh,
But
really?
but regardless, I see what you're saying about the boomers, but the Gen X thing, that's a hill I'm gonna die on. Gray, I'm gonna let you guys continue. My bad. I just had to put that in there.
Okay. So, all right, I can accept that it's by design, but it's not as though the boomers have done themselves any favors trying to build support.
No,
It
if
has
anything,
been decades of shitting on millennials and blaming them for every single ill in society, despite the millennials having the least amount of power during that time period.
and once again, this is incrementally, death by design. That's how come they're taking everything and slowly circling the drain with it. I mean, this is collapse by design, and this is all a part of the demoralization that Yuri Bezmenov spoke of in the 1980s. I saw
Okay,
that shit.
but here's the thing. All right, it's by design. It's being done top down. No one is forcing the boomers at the point of a gun to ignore the plight of the millennials.
The
No
vast
one is
majority of
forcing this lack of sympathy.
most of
No
the
one is
boomers dying off.
forcing.
They don't
No
give a shit
one's forcing this ignorance. Like, we're being taught to listen to the very people who gave us bad financial advice in the first place, and by and large ruined us.
financial
Millennials
advice.
didn't go to fucking post-secondary because they thought themselves it was a good idea. They listened to their parents' advice, and now they're tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, being shamed that they're not homeowners.
Okay, once upon a time, you could go to college, get a degree, learn something useful, and make an actual career out of it. Now it's all just a business designed to put you into debt. They don't really want to, educate you on anything. They just want to accumulate that debt load and make things even more difficult for you than what it was. You don't really learn anything in college. And then, as far as like, I'm speaking for the boomers only, okay? Now, they aren't of evil intent. They don't purposely try to give bad advice. What advice that they do give, as far as like financial advice, this, that, and the other, this comes from a position of they work for corporations that get their money from banks. The bankers, they have all these billions of dollars at their disposal where they give the boomers the bad advice, which is fed to the millennials and so forth, to where this way it makes them lose their money.
So the boomers cannot take any responsibility for the advice that they've given.
Yeah, they can take responsibility, but I'm just saying, they are within their own bubble. This is kind of solipsistic on their own part because they can't see past themselves. Okay, they really couldn't give a shit about millennials or X or Z. It's like, I'm just gonna use my retirement before the government takes it, because if I leave it to my kids are going to end up having to get what they can off the taxes, because when I die, the government's going to take everything anyway. So I might as well go out, spend it, blow it, have fun before the government takes it all. And that's how come you're not getting anything.
No, I'm not getting anything because they'd rather blow the money on complete fucking strangers than their own family.
And a lot of these are blue pilled, and they happen to think that everything that they believe to be true is part of the lies that we were all fed as we were growing up and going to school. They believe
And
in this.
so I'm not allowed to have any resentment towards these actions.
I'm saying that it's misplaced.
I think that holding people responsible for their own decisions, blowing a shit ton of money, paying for some other family's medical care, while their kids are struggling to make ends meet is, a little bit worthy of some scorn.
Okay, I'm
I
going to
think
give you
going
an
on vacations on a regular basis, and expecting your kids to pick up the bill and wipe your ass when you're old, I think that's worthy of a little bit of disdain.
So I gotta chime in. Just because there's naiveness doesn't mean that you're safe from being held accountable.
And it's not like no one told the boomers, hey, you're fucking over your kids and future generations, and this is a bad idea. It's not like the boomers have only gotten one way piece of advice. They've selectively chosen which advice to listen to and which to reject. They have chosen to criticize the millennial and Gen Z for being entitled, lazy pieces of shit and not listen to anything that are legitimate grievances there. That's not something that the government forced them to do, maybe told them to do, but are the boomers but am I supposed to listen to the boomers for advice if they're going to say, well, we didn't know any better and we're not going to bother learning any better because we just listened to what's told by our corporate and government masters? How can I trust to listen to people who have no idea what the hell's going on and find any value in what they have to say when they won't even listen to me in the first place about what's going on and where some problems are?
just like you're not listening to me.
What have I not heard from you?
I'm telling you, this goes way farther than just the boomers. This goes back a long ways. And
Okay,
this is
but
all
everyone
about,
older than the boomers who could do anything about it are dead.
and the boomers are going to be soon dead too.
They still have the power. They still have the majority power of the vote by the voting bloc. They're still the wealthiest generation. They are the ones in power right now.
You think they're in power? Do you really?
Relative to every other generation, yes. What is Gen X in power? Are the millennials in power? Is Gen
Are
Z in
any of
power?
us in
Who
power?
has what generation, what age group has more power right now than the boomers?
None.
Sleepy Joe is
But-
in office.
But the boomers
That's what I
aren't
was
in charge of themselves.
Do you
The
think
boomers
that?
are guided.
Do you think that Potato Joe was legitimately elected?
Fuck no.
No, but that's not the point. They're like the government officials. A good amount of them are still from the boomer age, and the voting power, whether it matters or not.
This isn't a
And the vast majority
200-year-old vampire cult that is controlling the government. These are real people from a real generation. And their peers, regardless of whether or not they were deceived or shit, are making conscious choices to continue to screw over the younger generation. And what I'm hearing is a bunch of excuses and how, oh, it's not our fault. Oh, you wouldn't get as much money anyway, so it's better that you get none of it than some of it.
Even
Yeah, that's
though
greed.
there might be some conspiracy, right? Yeah, I'm saying conspiracy because of Susan. Regardless, the generation still needs to be held responsible, whether they're naive about it or not. Right? They fucked up. Whether they fucked up by accident or fucked up by they fucked up. Just like with Gen X, Millennials, and Gen Z. Eventually, we will be held accountable for what we've done. Whatever grievances that happens in the future.
Yes, and once again, I go back to the point of this all about class warfare. Okay? You divide up all of the classes by race, by sex, by age. That's how you do it.
It's
You-
manufactured.
Yes, united we stand, divided we fall. That's just that fucking simple.
As long as
Okay,
you can
but they don't.
agree-
Okay, but the people in power don't give a shit if I want to unite with them or not. They're fine. They're going to die, and they're going to die in luxury. They don't give a shit about my well-being. I need them. They don't need me.
And do you think the globalists ever gave a shit about any generation? Ever?
If you're not
It's
part
all-
of the special
The point is,
families,
you're asking me to reach out and join hands with a bunch of people that are slapping me away and have slapped me away for well over a decade. I'm fucking tired of trying to reach out to people that openly despise me.
just because we're not a good enough workhorse or other grievances.
No,
that
just
the-
because I fucking have legitimate grievances and want advice, I'm instead given mockery and hyperbole. And well, it's not our fault that you ended up like this. It's someone else's fault. We can't take responsibility for how we're still screwing you over. And you know what? I'm going to fucking clap back. I'm going to
Bam.
fucking pay back for the entire fucking time that I've been shit on. And I'm not
Okay,
going to
stop right
get
there
any of
and
this fucking one way, oh, you need to join hands because there's fucking division. No, they can fucking build the goddamn bridge. They're the ones with the wood and the rope.
remove the age part, okay? Just say it's as a ongoing expedition, okay? This is called mission creep, okay? This is all about destruction by pure design. The idea of the whole, generation whatever question mark, okay? It doesn't pertain to anything. What I'm saying is this is collapse by design. This is being done intentionally. You can be pissed off at the boomers and the Gen Xers as much as you want. I can't remember the last time that I saw a fucking boomer fucking pickup roach. So it is what it is. But I'm just saying the thing of it is that these folks are clever in their design of how to manipulate people to get the results that they want. You
Okay,
are kind of fucked, and you're whining about it because what it seems to be is that you don't see things from my point of view because you didn't have my lived experiences. Now, the advice that I can give, it only pertains to the people that I can help personally. Now, you're saying that I don't do anything to help anybody? Bullshit. I do a lot of things to help a lot of people. Most
I'm not
people don't
saying
do that.
you, I'm saying your generation. What percentage of your generation is helping the younger generations?
That is
Practically non-existent.
Practically non-existent. So what the fuck does it matter if 1% of boomers help the younger ones if 99% ain't gonna do shit? I can fucking bitch about the 99%, just like we can bitch about the vast majority of women being fucking solipsistic trollops. And it's like, oh, well, not all women. What, are we supposed to just not complain about women's fuckery because 1% of them might not do it as much?
But hey, I'm gonna interrupt you guys. Okay, so Francesco pretty much summed up what I was trying to say about the boomers. That's the biggest flaw that boomers have, and boomers admitted when it comes to having this type of mentality. We just gonna spend the money all we want. We just gonna do whatever we want. We just gonna do what's gonna benefit us because the future is not our problem. It's your problem. That's their overall mentality. I'm talking about the generation. They say, hey, we just gonna do whatever the fuck we want and not care per se about what's going to happen in the future overall on a societal level. And because of their spending and their fuck ups or etc., they'll put all of that onto you, but mainly the millennial generation, because that's where the value of the dollar got pretty bad, and right now is currently getting a lot worse. They're the ones like, oh, what are you doing? Wait, hold up. Why are we in so much debt right now? What are you doing? The spending of the budget of the U.S. and the spending and the craziness that's happening within the boomer era all the way up until now, all that is the influence of the boomer generation. They're still in power, whether it's various places in Congress or the voting power. It's like, it's not our problem now, it's your problem now. Yeah, we kind of ran up the national budget and pretty much made everything shit for you guys financially, but hey,
incrementally over time, that's what they do.
Well, what I'm saying is the boomers till this day, like what Gray said before, they still have that heavy influence, and with that influence, they personally just don't give a fuck. They're just gonna put people in power that are just gonna benefit them, which they're usually liberal.
Like, so here's the thing: when the boomers were going to college, They voted for free and cheap college and student loans, and now student prices are out the fucking window. Then they got into business and they voted for policies that helped their business stuff. And in the wake of that, everything's fucked up. Now they're at nursing home and retirement age, so they're voting for a whole bunch of retirement benefits and nursing benefits and healthcare benefits. And everyone else has to fucking pay for that shit.
And Cesspool, you're not wrong. Once again, see, I'm not saying that
Here's the thing. I'm not disagreeing, but if I'm complaining about the boomers and I can't change shit, you're complaining about the government and you can't change shit. If my complaining is impotent, then your complaining is impotent. But at least my shit, boomers can actually make decisions today, right now, that can change the future. The people who you're complaining about won't do shit no matter what.
And at the moment, you're saying that it's the bigger plan, like the bigger design is the overall cause of what's happening right now. Well, if that's the case, then no generation will be held accountable at this point.
Bingo.
But here's
people, but
here's the other thing too.
Power,
If
wait,
boomers...
great. But the people that are in power, the power to be, I guarantee you, majority of them are boomers.
And here's the thing, like, you know what? Fine. If the boomers aren't going to do shit, then shut the fuck up about the millennials and Gen Z being lazy, entitled pieces of shit. If you're not going to fucking do anything to actively help them, shut the fuck up about them.
Yeah. We're talking about generation, not you.
Okay, now, here's the deal on that. The vast majority of the voters in the United States that are boomers are usually from the Southwest, Midwest. They are not on the East Coast or West Coast, okay? These are people that are in the flyover states. These are the ones that usually vote conservative. These are the same people that really got pissed off whenever, certain political parties got into power. Okay, and this is the puppet president that was put in by design. Nobody voted for this guy. We know this. Everybody knows this. And so these are the same people, as far as the politicians that can actually do anything, are the same politicians that are lining their own pockets, getting paid by political action committees to do all of the legislation that's gonna fuck over the Gen X, the Gen Z, millennials, all of them. It's there to remove your rights by design and line their own pockets. They couldn't give a fuck about you. They never did.
And you think the conservatives do?
No,
Hold up.
they're just as bad. They are.
So what the fuck does the political leanings of a generation matter if they're gonna fuck over everyone either way?
Great. Stop. Chat. Cesspool is not wrong, but at the same time, I'm 99% sure me and Gray aren't wrong either. Okay, we both got our own opinions. Okay, we both are saying some good points. But right now, we're just trying to get a middle ground, okay? So relax.
I don't disagree with Success Pool about the overall causes. Yes, this is a whole bunch of shit.
I'm talking to the chat. Because the chat is trying to talk shit about, the boomer thing. So telling the chat to relax, because at the moment, Cesspool technically didn't say anything wrong, but we didn't say anything that was wrong either, in my opinion. So we're just trying to find the middle ground. Relax, y'all. All right, go ahead. Was it Cesspool? Was it who was talking?
Hey, can I interject something here?
Oh, what's up, Brandon?
If you want the boomers' money, go into geriatrics service of some type or another.
What is that?
Invest in oxygen delivery. Invest in home health care companies.
Okay.
Invest in whatever is going to pump the money out of those guys in the last 5 years of their life, because they are self-centered. The whole generation, I've followed them my entire life, is the most self-centered, self-indulgent generation I have ever heard of. And people in the last 5 years of their life are usually divested of most of their income by the medical industrial complex. And a lot of these boomers will die penniless and have nothing to give to their kids, not from just having extravagant vacations, not from blowing their money because they don't want to give it to the government. They are going to go in debt, and the government will pay for it, and you will pay for it, but they will go in debt to one industry, and that is the medical industrial complex.
Well, Brandon, we will definitely get into that.
And then after that, invest in graveyards.
Yeah, we'll definitely get into that when we get to the future generations. But before you guys continue, Cesspool, Gray, can you address this comment? Because somebody has a disagreement with you.
Who is keeping the left in power? It's the retarded millennials and the blue-haired Gen Z freak hobgoblins.
False.
Yet who controls the media? CEO of Disney is a boomer. Who controls all the fucking brainwashing bullshit that gets these weak-minded, ignorant people to believe stuff?
NBC.
Well, there's the Mark Zuckerberg era guys, Jeff Bezos. They're not boomers.
Yeah? No, they'd be Gen X.
That's
they?
true. That's true. I'll give you that one. They're not boomers.
Huh. And here's the thing, like, yes, the millennials are absolutely fucking up and making stupid voting decisions. And I'm not taking that away. I am not absolving the millennials of their own fuckery right here.
Yeah, we're going to get to the millennials next.
Like,
that's the next group. But now,
and it's like, here's the thing. And am I saying that, do I want the boomers' money for nothing? No. I'm not even getting the opportunity. And I've been put in a worse position. And you know what? Okay. I can take my fucking lumps. I can acknowledge my own bad decisions. Like, yeah, maybe I made stupid financial decisions going to post-secondary without a clear, concise career path. Yeah, maybe I can go, well, no one told me I needed that. I never got any valuable advice from any older generation, but okay. I can also say, yeah, well, I didn't seek it out and think critically through it. I can point out my own flaws there and be like, yeah, you know what? I fucked up. I'll deal with the consequences. I'm not asking for a direct handout to do it. I'm asking for the means to work to do it. And I'm doing what I can. I'm grinding it out as hard as I fucking can. To grind out any harder, really, you'd basically see me disappear from all Warband activity. I'm already running on less than 4 hours of sleep a night and working 9-hour days, breaking my body. So I don't really know how much harder you want me to work.
Agreed. And so to pretty much conclude this conversation, Cesspool. You there, Cesspool? Yes, no, maybe so.
He's on mute.
He's not there. He's on mute.
What? Here's the thing. I want the boomers to stop shitting on the millennials.
I was looking up information.
Well, that's cool. So I know your stance when it comes to it's not just a generational thing, but it's a bigger plan than a lot of people can fathom. That exactly. But would you still hold the boomers accountable, just like any other generation, or would you hold no generation accountable because of the overall plan?
I would say that the boomers are narcissistic and naive. Yes. Are they evil? No. Are they the source of all of the problems? No. But that's another part of, all of the bullshit that has been manipulated through the system. And they've been doing this for ages, okay? If you think that we got into World War I and World War II just because it seemed like the right thing to do, no. These were all done by design.
But would you still hold the boomers accountable for their flaws?
Mostly, yes.
Okay, like just like every other generation, that I hold Gen X accountable for the dating stuff. And soon we're about to get to the millennials and Gen Z, but that's the biggest thing.
Here would be here'd be one example. You have a boomer who owns multiple properties, jacking up the price every single year on the millennial who is working and renting from them simply because they can, not because they actually need the money. Is that a fucking shitty dirtbag thing to do?
Once again, go back to that list that I sent you. This is all about, paying more in taxes, creating the system which is a death spiral to our way of life. Okay, this is all collapsed by design.
That's not an answer.
Regardless, it's still a shitty thing to do, though, right?
It's a shitty thing to do, but however, if the government raises taxes on you, you have to pass the rate hike on to somebody else. The millennials, they're just basically fucked. The Gen X millennials, all of them, everybody on down, they're basically fucked. And you see, it's only going to continue to get much worse. And this is once again collapse by design. This is to help bring in this new world order.
Well, that I will say you are making a lot of sense. I know Susan's watching me right now. Oh, you want to expose a new world order, huh? Okay. Well, let me just yeet your channel to a different dimension. Yeah, fuck you, Yeetus. Make your 7th channel now. But in all seriousness,
I'm not trying to get your channel yeeted. You know that.
No, it's all good. But in all seriousness, we all know it's about to get worse. The Gen Alpha group will have it very bad in the future, in my opinion. 2010s.
Yeetus, you were one of the first ones that I gave that red pill behind the red pill speech to, which is you, Island Hermit, a couple of other guys. Dak was one. But you see, I tried to teach you guys what all the forces are behind the shit that you see. Like feminism, yeah, it's a bad thing. Okay, feminism is a bad thing, but it's only a symptom of the actual disease, which is communism.
Okay, but here's the problem. How is that in any way useful?
It teaches you who real fucking enemies are.
Okay, but I can't fight them.
You
fight the enemies that you can, which is why we always go after feminism, because we can show that it's wrong on a number of fronts. You change things by altering the values of people. Okay, you change the narrative. You get the pendulum to swing in your favor, and that is exactly what's happening right now. The globalists and the millennials are not millennials. The globalists and the media and all the people that are behind that are losing control. Don't believe me? Look at what happened just yesterday with the Georgia Guidestones. Okay,
and this is literally the only place that I even have like the ability to fight on the field. I bring this shit up elsewhere. Yeah, good luck getting a fucking job that pays you any sort of a decent wage these days, like without being a complete fucking sheep to the system and publicly supporting all the communist bullshit.
Well, all I can say is
another part of bringing all the people into your country. I'm saying for Canada, it's like from the Middle East, like the United States, people from the south of the border.
Hey, revolution, gentlemen. That's all I have to say. It's going to come up. It is what it is. I can't go into detail, but I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. It's going to happen. If things are still going to go downhill, there will be society as we know it will come to an end.
I can look at this and I can acknowledge. And here's the thing, like me just focusing on myself, not supporting any other people, not like paying as little in taxes as absolutely necessary, and just trying to fuck off from the rest of it. That is being a fairly effective tool against the communist powers of the government.
Yeah.
The boomers and the Gen Xers are the ones who want to drag me out of that, to make me work harder to pay more. And they're also the ones who expect me to foot the bill for their future shit. It's like, look, guys, I want fucking boomers to stop fucking shitting on the millennials, for one. That's not helping in the slightest. And also stop blowing all the fucking money that you're going to need to live out what little remains of your life on vacations and expecting your broke ass kids and grandkids to pick up the bill.
I agree, because eventually in 10 years, I'll say 10 years, maybe even less, not a lot of boomers. Pretty much all boomers will be unable to sustain themselves when it comes to survival. So they're blowing off all their money and all that stuff. And then,
when you die, you get a death tax. Anything that was in your estate is going to be whittled away by the government. They're going to take.
I'm not expecting a fucking cent from the boomers. I'm not expecting them to have it. I'm expecting them to at least be in the black when they go to the grave.
Death and taxes.
Because guess what? There's no fucking tax, because there's no fucking reduction for the debts that are paid forward.
But the biggest thing what I'm saying is the boomers are living their best lives for the last, I don't know how many years, right? Because, right, a lot of them, they're narcissistic, they're self-centered, they're just doing whatever they please as long as it benefits them. But as soon as they're unable to support themselves work-wise and stuff, and eventually, I'll say within 5-10 years, 90% of you guys will not be able to do that. You will not be able to sustain yourself. So once again, the working generation,
when hardship even rears its fucking head, like when the incoming housing crash is coming, what do the boomers choose to bitch about? Is it the overinflated housing prices? Is it bad financial decisions? Is it an unshakable economy? No, they choose to bitch about millennials on Twitter celebrating that they may be able to buy a house.
You're not wrong.
That's the boomers' fucking priority. Shitting on millennials for every perceived threat or lack of empathy from the people that they've openly vilified for decades.
But honestly, Cesspool, do you have closing arguments? And then we'll go to Gray with closing arguments. This conversation is not over. Honestly, I really believe we can even go even further with this. But we got to move on to millennials.
And I got about 15 minutes before I got to go to bed too, so I'm probably going to be dipping out soon.
15 minutes? Damn! All right, you were very.
Dude, I have to at least try to get 4 hours of sleep a night.
Oh,
I'm going to pull 7. I'm going to pull 9 hours in the sun.
I've been in the military. I know how it feels, right? I don't sleep for 72 hours sometimes.
Gray needs to go wait up.
Yeah, it's all good. I'm just saying, I know how it feels to be sleep deprived. 20, he knows. He's laughing. He knows. But
no, I mean waiting on the dope joke, and you didn't get it.
Oh, I'll get there soon. But Cesspool, what is your closing arguments when it comes to this conversation?
Look, what I'm saying is that all of this is collapsed by design. What you're seeing is the infighting of the various generational gaps that are basically, we're all being affected by this. The boomers are basically saying, hey, look, if, I have my choice to spend my money on a vacation or to spend my money on, dying in an old folks home, well, I'm going to choose the vacation and fuck you. That's what they're looking at here. Because, if it's either going to be the healthcare companies that take my money or the government that takes my money, why should I leave anything behind? And that's what they're looking at. Now, as far as the debt loads that are created by the governments, as far as let's just say the $1 trillion of deficit that the United States is accumulating, this has been done by both parties, over, decades, and it has, incrementally increased to where it's going to become a huge debt bubble which can't be paid. This is the ticking time bomb of the United States. I put that USDebtClock.org thing in the chat to where this way you have access to it. You can look it up anytime that you want. That is the countdown to destruction.
Okay, great. What is your closing arguments about this topic?
A society grows great when old men plant trees whose shade they know they will never sit in.
That's it?
Until you got somebody that cuts down that tree.
Great. Is that it? Like,
That's it.
That's it? Okay. And you did explain to me what that meant before. Pretty much a selfish generation, and when it comes to making sure the future generations prosper is crucial for a successful society.
Yeah.
I think I explained it correctly. But Cesspool, Brand True Blood, thank you for joining. And hell, come back and join tomorrow, because personally, I believe this deserves a part 2.
Like I said, I'm the one who picked this fight with Gray. I wanted to clarify a few positions. Now, I understand his frustration over all of this, but I'm also telling him, don't, lump all of this shit onto the shoulders of the boomers.
Oh, no, it's not everything onto the boomers at all whatsoever, but it's the financial situation of the boomers that they shame the future generations of, oh, well, back in my day, I had this and that and I had everything. Why don't you have those things? And blah, blah, blah. Like, it is
Your advice
very,
applies to the younger generation. It doesn't.
right, but it's very demoralizing for today's working force.
They have no concept of what it takes to survive nowadays, like a millennial or a Gen Z. It doesn't enter their minds. They can't comprehend just how much worse things are now to when they were growing up and what they had to do. They can't comprehend the shit because it's just that bad.
But Cesspool, we will save that for part 2, because the main thing when it comes to the boomers versus today's generation that are the working force is the rebuttal to the boomers. And I know the boomers, they're at least 60 years old now, 70 years old. It's like, okay, you see my situation. How am I going to get a house? How am I going to support a family? How am I going to get a decent car that will get me from point A to point B to your standards? Like, how am I going to get all this? Well, maybe you should just pick up a 5th job. It's those type of comments that definitely frustrates a lot of people that are working today. But
I understand that. Yeah, here's the deal. When you send all of your jobs overseas, there's nothing for anybody to do. Then you got a number of people that are flooding in through the borders trying to take over what little scraps are left. Okay? They're going to be paying in taxes to support people that they don't even know and, wouldn't want to have anything to do with if they didn't have to.
And that's the annoying thing, right? Because and once again, I'm only naming the big guys, right? The big companies. Isn't Bill Gates a boomer?
Yes, he is.
Isn't Steve Jobs a boomer before he passed away?
Yes, he was.
I know Mark is he's a millennial.
Zuckerberg.
He's a millennial, right?
All billionaires. Most average people aren't billionaires. They don't get to make decisions. They get to pay the fucking price that the billionaires never will.
But doesn't the people on Capitol Hill have the power to make sure the jobs doesn't go overseas? Or
well, they had that power, but they decided to put the money in their own pockets by being paid off by the outsourcing. Now, what we have seen is the steady, constant flow of money away from the middle class. And what you're seeing now is the last gasp of the boomers. And soon there will be no intergenerational wealth left. None in the middle class. There will be the rich and the poor. And we'll have fucking France all over again. And I guarantee you the guillotine will sing.
But Cesspool, what were you saying?
Just to let you know that in the book of Revelations, it speaks of beheadings, plural, as in, yes, that is going to happen.
Yeah, I'm definitely not surprised. I'm telling you, this is why we need to have these conversations, gentlemen. Nobody's having these type of conversations. Nobody, like, once again, I'm gonna go off topic. I'm tired of these motherfuckers, especially these pretty privileged fucking females coming to the manosphere, or these grifters, these male grifters coming up saying the same fucking bullshit over and over again, regurgitating the same bullshit over and over again. Okay, this is something that Gray brought up, the generational issues, which I thought was fucking genius. This is genius because nobody honestly talks about this. This is beyond interest. I just may rewatch my own fucking live stream on this one. I've never done it.
I'm going back to saying that this is another part of the division that they need for the class warfare.
Because communism is the politics of envy. And if you envy what somebody else has got and you don't got it, you're willing to fight for it eventually.
But in the end, it will be rich versus poor. I see that happening in the future. Rich versus, super rich. It's like the rich versus the people that can't even buy a loaf of bread.
Keep your guns, brothers.
Yeah, let me explain something to you. Okay, like with cars, they're no longer going to be creating and selling cars that you can buy. They're going to be making them to where you can lease them, and then the car is going to be on like a subscription service. Okay, if you don't meet whatever the party says, then you don't get privileges to drive. You don't get privileges to drive, you aren't able to get to work. Okay, and that's if your social credit score is good enough, according to whatever the Politburo says. So this is not only about controlling your wages and making you a slave, it's about keeping you a slave, to where this way you have nothing and you will be fucking happy.
Yeah. People want to down on the Abrahamic religions, but everything when it comes to Revelation is coming true. It's coming true. Like, I'm telling you, it's some scary shit right now. If you guys read the Revelations, like, what the fuck, like, bro, it is.
It took me 4 times to read the book of Revelations before I finally understood the messages that they were trying to get across. When it speaks of like the locust with the faces of men, this was a guy from 2,000 years ago that was trying to describe a helicopter with pilots inside. It looks like a green locust with the wings would be the rotor blades. Okay.
Exactly. And also, people will walk by graves and they will wish that they can trade places with the dead. That means mental health issues are skyrocketing right now.
Have you ever watched any of Dax's videos on all the head meds like Lexapro and Wellbutrin and all that shit?
I did comment on one of his videos. I'm like, bro, like, how many where you find these videos? And it is very concerning on how many women are literally just bragging about how much medication they're on. I'm like, what the crazy? Is it like one third now of all women on these medications now? 1/3?
Okay.
I don't want to say. I don't know.
I have to look it up. I'm pretty sure it was instead of 1/4, now it's 1/3.
All right. Getting to something that Backwood Bachelor had said is like they're using it like a blueprint. The 4 horsemen are afoot. Well, the 3rd horseman is famine and starvation. Guess what's right around the corner?
Yeah. I definitely agree. And people ain't taking it seriously, and that's why a lot of people are going to be 6 feet under. They're not taking it seriously. But Cesspool, Brand True Blood, thank you for joining. Like, we didn't expect this to go this long at all. But the conversation was awesome, and we only got through 2 generations. If you guys want to return, you guys can say your piece about the millennials and Gen Z. Like, I would definitely invite you guys back. Because you guys gotta, I know you guys want to punch back, like, hey, you talk shit about us, but hey, I got something to say about these millennials.
Well, like I said, how many fucking boomer pickup roaches do you see on the internet? Just count them all. Name them off.
You said boomer?
Yeah.
Entrepreneurs in cars is a boomer.
Yeah, I know that he is. I'm thinking him and maybe Cuck Murphy.
Who's Playboy dude?
Now, who's that guy that's got the?
He's way before the boomer age. But what'd you say, Brandon?
Who's that black guy that's got the fat wife? The white
Donovan
wife.
Donovan Shart.
What about George Bruno? Is he a boomer?
Yeah,
Or is he
George.
Gen X?
George definitely a boomer.
But I don't think is he a pickup artist? I don't think he is he?
I don't think he is.
But yeah, it's
He
only
had-
like what 3 or 4.
Had a good stream like about a month ago or so.
Yeah, it's only 3 or 4 boomers that are doing this thing. So
How many boomers are internet literate to begin with?
right,
Okay.
like I'm beyond impressed that they're able to navigate through all this social media and all this crazy stuff. I'm beyond impressed, but at the same time, yeah, it's only like 4 that I know of, 4 boomers that are doing this.
They're not internet savvy, so why do you think you're always getting bad advice, huh?
Wait, what do you mean by that?
I'm saying that they don't see things for the way that they're happening right now. They're seeing things from their viewpoint and their perspective from decades ago, and they're trying to give advice which isn't applicable anymore.
They still have the option of listening.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that they're the outliers. They're the outliers in the sense of.
Well, I'm sure that President Potato, he can probably hear things, but does he listen? You don't know. Does he have the ability to, have?
We know Potato listens to things. We know Potato listens to things, and he can read too.
He listens to Mrs. Potato Head, and he reads.
And the little voice in his ear.
The teleprompter knows all.
Well, I'm sure that's true, but he's thankful for the information that he gets. Going to shake the hands of Mr. Invisible, okay?
Now, like one of the most telling stories was a boomer father who constantly criticized his son for never having his money together. So his son said, okay, here's my paycheck. Here's my bills. Help me budget. The dad shut right the fuck up and just shook his head and said something isn't right. The ignorance displayed by the boomers when they have all the resources at hand, even just fucking talking to the people who are complaining, that ignorance is inexcusable to me.
And once again, I go back to collapse by design. Look, guys, it's getting late. I know that you got to go. We need to finish this conversation later on.
I don't think we can, because it just goes back to, okay, like, you know what? Yes, it's collapse by design. I'm going to fucking bitch about the boomers following that design.
Gray, we're going to finish this conversation because I am going to be involved. I'm going to be asking important questions to get the middle ground on this situation. Because, by design, the bigger
that's the problem. We're going in circles here.
I know, but let me finish. I know the thing that's by design, the bigger plan, all that stuff, versus why can't you just listen to the millennials' grievances without having the most craziest negative judgment put upon them about a situation that technically the boomers put on the millennials in the first place. So we will definitely finish this tomorrow. There will be a part two. There will be a part two. So
Yeetus,
what's
listen,
up?
I know that Hammerhand is planning a stream for tomorrow with Black Pill on steroids. I've been trying to get Black Pill on steroids to your channel. I know that he wants to stream with you, but I got Black Pill in touch with Hammerhand, and then Saturday I know that Hammerhand is trying. You know, they're working. Dak is working on trying to set up a stream with Sandman and Hammerhand, and so we'll see.
Well, not once he sent me a message. Like I gave you the entire email that I had. Like, you know, it's nothing against him, but like I didn't get anything in any contact. So I'll send you the email again just to make sure that it's correct this time, and we'll see if he's able to respond or set anything up, because I watched a few of his videos. I believe that, you know, me, Gray, and this guy, we can definitely have a good conversation. He ain't wild, or he ain't trying to put on some macho Cuck Murphy bullshit. He seems pretty chill. So, but Cesspool, Brand True Blood, thank you very much for joining. And if we can tomorrow, we will definitely gonna finish this conversation, because I don't believe we're done. Personally, I don't believe we're done, and I think that we're able to get some type of conclusion. Because I know we did the ring around rosy, you know, merry-go-round bullshit, you know, being around the bush, because, you know, we repeated the same points a lot. But I say tomorrow we'll be able to get to a middle ground at least, or worst comes to worst, agree to disagree. So thank you, Cesspool, for joining. Thank you, Brandon. Puniti.
Boonita.
Boonity.
All right, Gray, how do you feel about the live stream we had today?
I definitely dug into a lot of issues. It's frustrating because I didn't really get any of the kind of answers I was looking for. Like, I did want to ask Brandon Trueblood a bit more about getting work online, because just getting an online job, it sounds so easy. Like, just to say it, I want details on that kind of stuff. Because sure, it's theoretically possible, but what's required to go into that? How much money can someone reasonably expect to make? And then as for the larger topic of millennials versus boomers, like, look, okay, fine, yes, like orchestrated by the top, people will always be largely ignorant and just follow whatever the overlords tell them. Yeah, okay, I get that. I don't see how that provides any kind of solution. Knowing who these people are does not put food on my table. It does not increase my salary. In fact, it makes it less likely for me to be able to get a higher paid salaried position that will actually allow me to dig myself out of stuff.
Well, because does every other generation follow the powers to be? So that was my issue. That was my question. Like, you either exonerate all the generations of their flaws, or you just got to say, hey, the boomers, they were not how do I say, they were not in the right when it comes to being two-faced, of looking down on the generation of how the economy went to shit, when the boomers, in my opinion, for the most part, was a huge contributor of the economy going to shit.
Like, I don't think that the boomers will actually realize the consequences of their actions until they're turning to their millennial and Gen Z descendants looking for money and housing and find that it's not there.
Agreed. Like the boomers never had to. Okay, majority of boomers or the boomers in general, I'll say boomers in general, never had to go through that feeling of, oh man, I need to plan very carefully in order to save enough within the next 7 to 10 years to put down a down payment for a house. Not too many boomers ever had to do it. No, majority of the boomers, with just their job alone, hell, at times, even the fast food industry, they were eventually able to at least get an apartment and support their family there. But when it comes to the postal office and when it comes to being the milk delivery man, or when it comes to just the middle income jobs, they were able to do all that. But look, we know as millennials and zoomers, our income alone is nothing if we have to support a family today.
And I'm tired of being told to cut unnecessary expenses by people with a crippling cigarette addiction.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. That's beyond hypocritical. Beyond. Cigarettes are very expensive these days, gentlemen. I don't smoke, but I do see the prices. But I see the old people. Oh, let me get a carton, guys. Let me you know what? Fuck that. Let me get 2 cartons of cigarettes.
Now, you go through a minimum of a pack every 2 days, if not more. And you're telling me that I need to cut expenses to make ends meet.
Like, hey, I know I'm spending you millennials and Gen Z's money, but you guys need to be more wary of what you spend on. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and you need to work harder so that you can pay for the inevitable hospital bills the lung cancer is going to give me.
That's literally how it is. I'm telling you, they can't admit that. And I ain't talking about cesspool. I'm talking about the boomers in general. They can't admit that the narcissism, the self-interest generation put a huge dent on the bullshit that we're dealing with today. I don't know why they can't admit that.
Like, and here's the thing, and like Brandon Trueblood's got advice in chat, like that's the thing. I would like to do at some point, maybe on my channel, I think this would be useful, a career consultation stream. Anyone who has experience with raising alternative forms of income or scrounging together shit under tough circumstances, I would like to get archived conversations of that, because I think that's useful. I know it'd be bloody useful to me, because I've been told that I'm intelligent by a number of people, both online and IRL, but I'm fucking stupid at making money. So stuff like that, I think I'd find useful. And having some sort of pathway to follow, I think others of my generation and younger would find that useful as well.
I'm down to join or just annoy you in the chat if you do plan on doing that.
Yeah. Like, honestly, that would probably be something good to do for Sunday, really, because it seems like stream schedule is pretty backed up through Saturday. But I think I'll aim for some sort of job consultation stream on Sunday. Like, anyone with experience making like just like income or a side hustle in an unusual way, or a way that has fairly flexible hours and you're in control of stuff, I want to hear that kind of stuff. That's the kind of advice I'd like to get from older generations with experience, because so much of my problem is that when I do go to the older gens for experience, I get ridicule or hyperbole. And I'd like to actually get sincere advice for a change. Like useful, sincere advice.
I agree. Like, we're yet to hear some actual legitimate advice. Not once I heard it on the live stream. Except for Brandon Trueblood. I think he's the one that gave a couple advices. Yeah, I think he did, but I completely forgot. I'm gonna have to rewatch the stream. But
Yeah,
I agree, Gray.
Hermit's got experience too, so I
I got
want to be able
as
to do
well.
a deeper dive on that kind of stuff. So,
How old are you
like,
trying to go?
hmm?
That's the difference. How old are you trying to go?
I don't fucking care.
Mm.
I'd
Oh, you
listen to
don't-
a 70-year-old. I'd listen to a 50-year-old. Shit, if there's some fucking 16-year-old listening who's found a pathway to side hustle, I'll listen to them. I do
So
not
the-
discriminate on age when it comes to getting advice or tips or even alternative pathways. What I discriminate on
You did
is
say
the
older.
quality.
You did
I'll
say
do
older.
older.
So
Hey, that's older people tend to have more life experience. I'll take younger.
yeah.
I'm-
That's what I'm saying. Like, what about me? You know, I'm not old, but I'm not young. I'm around that age. Actually, I'll say I'm still young, but I'm not 16 years old young type shit. Like I got experience myself.
Yeah.
So
Like, that's the
I
thing.
got some input.
Yeah. Like, more so when I complain about the boomers, it's because I figure that's a repository of what should be useful knowledge. And I get a surprising lack of it from them. And it's frustrating on top of the ridicule.
I want to get some like Coil Steel right here. He says I'm a boomer, but reject what they did wrong. At least there's a boomer out there that's able to acknowledge, like, hey,
Yeah.
you know, they were kind of fucked up, you know.
And I guess the other thing is the boomers aren't going to listen to me. I'm a millennial. If the boomers are going to listen to anyone, it's going to be other boomers.
I agree. I definitely agree. And once again, gentlemen, this stream is not to just, oh yeah, boomers this, Gen X is that. We are going through all generation, even Generation Alpha. Fuck it. We're gonna go through 3 more generations. Because once again, we said it before, even millennials have issues, even Gen Z have issues. We all got issues. We're just pointing out the flaws of each generation and definitely things that contribute to the bullshit that's happening today.
Oh, and there's definitely millennials that I'm like, you ignorant piece of self-entitled shit. I want to strip that smile off your face and shove you in a coal mine for 5 years.
I feel that way often, bro. I'm telling you, man.
So, like, don't worry, guys. Everything that I've ripped on for the boomers, I'll go extra hard on the millennials.
I agree. So, everybody in the chat, put a 1 if you want a part 2 of this conversation, because we retain majority of you guys watching this show, this current live stream. I think that you guys are very interested. So put a 1 in the chat if you want a part 2 tomorrow. Because honestly, I'm far from done. I honestly, I'm ready for a part 2. Are you ready for a part 2, Gray?
Yeah, I'm down for a part 2.
If you're not tired.
I'm gonna be fucking tired, but I'm still gonna do it.
I mean, too tired.
Yeah, unless you're gonna start at like 5 or 6 o'clock sharp, I'm sure I'll have enough time to get a small nap in.
Well, we'll be. Is this time usually an ideal, like 9:30 your time, 9 o'clock?
Oh yeah, 9:30 is great, but we also got to consider Hammerhand's stream too.
He should be doing his. I'll check his stream. I'll check it just to make sure.
Like that's the thing. Like not like 9:30 is an optimal time for me. That's when I'd aim to stream, because then we can get like a good 3.5 hours in. So
that is true. And before I let you guys go, gentlemen, the fruit doesn't fall far from the tree. It really doesn't. In the sense of, that's why it's crucial for the generation to pass on just as much knowledge, as much help, and as much advice as possible, even if they don't get nothing in return, like what Gray said. If you want your future seeds, your future genes to succeed in this current society, you gotta be willing to be that old master up on the mountain where the monk has to climb 10,000 stairs just to get that sage wisdom advice. And you shouldn't expect anything in return from it. You shouldn't. Because once again, once you're dead, you're dead. So all that knowledge that you had inside your head, it goes with you. What use is that? It's fucking useless, in my opinion. In my opinion,
one of the other things. Actually, no, this I was actually a good metaphor I heard was, don't be a reservoir, be a river.
What do you mean by that, though? So, for the chat,
like all your knowledge and experience, like if it's not going to cost you anything, then you really have no reason to pass it on. Anytime I run into someone who I think is making a good decision, I will openly praise them for it. But yeah, you're on the right path. Sounds like you're doing good. Awesome. If I see someone who's making a questionable decision, like I may not have any authority to say, hey, don't do that, you're fucking up. But I will at the very least caution them and give my recommendation for what's coming down the line. Someone needs some sort of tech help or they need help getting some kind of resources. If I can get it for them quick and easy, I will absolutely do that.
Bingo, gentlemen. I've been doing this since I was 18 years old. Even when I was that young, I've been passing on advice to various people, but the red pill, in my opinion, is my passion. I believe it is crucial right now for the survival of the men out there that's trying to conduct self-preservation. I believe me doing this on this channel right now is so important to pass on the knowledge. Because once again, there's a good amount of content creators that passed away. And that put my life into perspective like, man, I have all this knowledge, all this experience, a lot of things that I want to say. And if I don't do it right now, it's literally a waste of space, a waste of time. Personally, I failed myself and I failed others. So if anything happens to me, let's say tomorrow I get beat up to death by an orangutan, you guys literally have 139 live streams and countless fucking shorts to look at when it comes to what my perspective is when it comes to female nature and society as a whole. You get what I'm saying, Gray?
Absolutely. And I'm thankful that I've gotten to get a bunch of stuff out here and on your channel, and that the Warband brought me into its wing, and I've gotten to get some of my own streams out. And I'm working on editing them so that they're a little more accessible, because I know not everyone has time to listen to a 3 to 4 hour live stream to pick out the maybe 10 to 30 minutes of relevant information that they need at that time.
Agreed. And chat, you need to understand, yeah, all the donations are great because I am definitely going to be having a plethora of new art coming soon. And yeah, it is great that you guys are here watching my live stream and some drama or some hyped up shit or some random shit is going to happen on the stream and we all have a good laugh. But the biggest thing is you guys truly need to listen to what I have to say and what Gray has to say. Like literally internalize. If you believe that our advice is not that good enough, it's okay. It's fine. But at the same time, we are one of the only genuine channels out there that's truly for the betterment of men.
And
We
here's
are
the other
not
thing: if
out
you've got life and experiences that counters the information, like holy shit, that's some powerful stuff you got. Please share it because that will be useful. It's like having
Oh, yeah.
scientific evidence that disproves gravity or something.
I will make a call in immediately and have you share your information. Because once again, gentlemen, the most recent death that I could think of, I know there was another one, but Vincent McTow, and he's been doing this since I've been in high school. And now he's gone. But his channel is here to stay for future generations until, Susan yeet his channel for some fucking reason. Future generations are able to learn from what he has to say from his perspective. Okay. And that's the beauty of Red Pill or MGTOW, whatever it is. We all don't have to have the exact same principles or the exact same perspectives. Okay. Just take whatever you agree with and don't take what you don't agree with and apply that within your life. And 9 times out of 10, it will make your life better. Gentlemen, the Warband ain't around just fuck around and blah ha ha, yeah, hoes ain't shit, blah blah blah. Listen, as much as Ruby roasts, as much as Chronic roasts, as much as Riker does his compilations, as much as Manic does his video games, as much as Rishi does his art and comedy, and as much as I do my live streams and Gray, because Gray's pretty much with me the entire time. We're not doing this for no reason, okay? We're doing this for you guys, right? And it's for selfish reasons as well, right? Because it makes me feel.
Well, here's the thing: if I could actually conclude on my personal selfish reason for doing this.
Oh, what's up?
I honestly think that my life will be better in the long run if there are more successful men in the world.
I agree 1,000,000%. I honestly agree. And gentlemen, and here's at the end of the day. Here's my overall goal. And we'll see if I said Gray. We'll see if Gray agrees or not. The overall purpose of my channel is to show you guys that you have a choice if you want to deal with these Western women or not. You have a choice if you want to sign that government contract, okay? Because once again, 99% of you guys, because I know there's a couple of women in here, 99% of you gentlemen, I can't tell you what to do, right? You're your own man. You do whatever you gotta do. It is what it is. But at least you're not going in blind. That's my overall goal. Is to open your eyes and say, hey, you don't have to get married to this gold digging fucking land whale. You don't have to do that. There's more to life out there. There's way more things that you can do out there, man. It's all good. But if you believe that you really love this girl, if you believe that she's the one, I can't stop you. But you can't say that you were ignorant of the consequences. That's pretty much my overall summary of my channel, right? Because I'm the serious person of the Warband. What do you have to say about that, Gray?
Yeah, I'm in agreement, man. Although personally, trying to wrap it up because it's already almost 1:30.
Yeah,
I gotta fucking crash immediately.
yeah, you do. But in all seriousness, gentlemen, in all seriousness, we are here for you, and we are definitely eternally grateful that you tune in and listen to what we have to say. And on top of that, that you're willing to invest in the channel. So eventually we'll be able to do upgrades And see, gentlemen, the donations that you give will be a positive for anybody watching right now, anybody watching in the future. If you guys were OGs on my channel, right? Ye Obe Yeeted Beach, it was just plain. Like I just had Skeletor. I was just that Skeletor, dude. Thanks to your donations, I'm able to get this far. You see the craziness that's happening right now on your screen. Gray got me the background photo for free, so that's different. But everything else is thanks to you guys' donations. I'm telling you, the grind doesn't stop for the Warband, and until they somehow like fucking ban me from everything, it's never going to stop. Because now more than ever, men out there needs help. Men out there needs masculine advice. Because the war on masculinity is getting to its peak. And at the same time, masculinity, unfortunately, in my opinion, is losing. You good, Gray?
Oh, good, man.
All right. We will do a part 2 tomorrow. Because we still got to address the rest of the generations. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Thank you, everybody, for donating that good stuff, okay? I'm telling you, gentlemen, I'm already in talks with a couple of artists. I'm trying to get some cool stuff for me and Gray, the animation. Like I'm telling, it's going to be great. It's thanks to you guys, it's going to be even great. Like I know Gray is going to be here for the long run, so I'm going to invest a good amount in this artwork. This is Sir Yeetus. Thank you very much for joining. Hopefully you got a bunch of gems dropped on your head today. And I will see you tomorrow to do a part 2. We are out. Peace.
Peace out, Warband.